Put down the pitchforks, everyone. WrestleMania Night 2 was way better than Night 1. CM Punk versus Roman Reigns for the World Heavyweight Championship. Jade Cargill versus Rhea Ripley for the WWE Women's Championship. And it appears Brock Lesnar has retired following his match with Oba Femi. Let's get it started, kids.
Uh-oh.
Yes, boy!
French toast is the exchange student that you have like a 3-week affair with.
Hey, we can see that you don't have pants on.
Somebody hit somebody with a pie. Do something.
Giovanni yelling we're out of time as we go off the air.
Giovanni yelling a lot of things tonight.
And welcome to the Mark It Down podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Mark It Down podcast. My name is Nick Cummings, riding solo dolo here tonight as I review WrestleMania Night 2. It was WrestleMania 42 Night 2, which was far, far better, in my opinion, than Night 1. If you were riding with us last night, you saw how disappointed we were in that, and I think much of the internet agreed with us there, and I think much of everybody agreed with us there. But WrestleMania Night 2, I personally think definitely came through. It felt much more like a WrestleMania. Granted, there are still far too many ads. I still don't love the presentation because of that, but I think the wrestling was much, much better. So give me 2 seconds because I do have to send out a tweet so we can have more people join us here on the show. There we go. As I mentioned, riding solo dolo tonight, so everything's a little chaotic. But we start with the main event of the evening, which saw CM Punk defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Royal Rumble winner Roman Reigns. Liberation aside, obviously, I think this was the move here ever since Roman won the Rumble, just because I think WWE really wanted to have Roman's name and just the fact that he was around this newer championship to help lend to the prestige of a title they are trying to build up credibility for. As we got into this match, another very good hype package for this. This was something I mentioned last night before the Cody Randy match. I'm certain they probably ran it a bunch during the pre-show, but similar to last night, I tried to stick to as much wrestling as possible with this show, just because I didn't want all of the noise around everything else to taint my opinion too much. It was unfortunately a little unavoidable last night. Tonight, I thought it was a little bit better, but again, I think it was probably because the show was a whole lot better. That being said, they ran this promo package and then had another, I think, like 6 minutes of ads. So even when you're trying, it's not great. Entrance-wise, Roman had an opera singer, a piano player, and a drummer play him out. And on his Tron, he had different members of the Samoan legacy up there. I think mostly dominated by his late father, which I thought was a very nice touch. Punk, in his first, I will say, proper main event of WrestleMania, at least his first Night 2 main event of WrestleMania. He closed WrestleMania, let's put it that way. He had a big video package. It started with shots of Las Vegas, and then you saw him sitting crisscross applesauce up on the top of Allegiant Stadium. And then they showed a bunch of pictures and some clips of him before he got to WWE, his early run in WWE. Obviously, a picture of him dropping the pipe bomb in the Stone Cold shirt. And then he came out to, forgive me if I absolutely botched this. The name is Mysterio Cantare, which was his old Ring of Honor theme. Something we haven't seen since, I want to say it was the dog collar match with MJF back in AEW. I know it was one of the MJF matches. Forgive me if I'm wrong, if it was the dog collar match or not, but it's very cool that WWE let him use it. It's also been crazy to me that recently they have mentioned Punk's run in Ring of Honor. I know they had mentioned it. I don't know if it was the night before or maybe it was on Monday, whatever it was. and then I just heard Corey Graves mentioned it on the post show as well. So the fact that they are lending any credence to the fact that Punk was in Ring of Honor, especially considering who owns it, is very shocking to me and very cool of them to actually do so. So after Punk walked out to that song, he then stood up on the entrance ramp and kind of soaked everything in without any music. He then, checked his watch. It's clobbering time, kids. And then Cult of Personality hit. I do also want to shout out Punk's jacket. He had a white gear on tonight. It looked very cool. He had the name, multiple names on his jacket. The one that was front and center was Bo Ludris, and again, forgive me if I mispronounced that, of Harm's Way, the band. He was the musician who passed away the other week, and that was the person for whom the funeral was, where Brody King went, and which is why he missed Dynamite the other week. So obviously that was a big loss for those people, and I wish his family and his friends the best, and our condolences here from the Mark It Down podcast. And Punk also had the names of multiple longtime late WWE employees. I thought Michael Cole did a very good job conveying this. Apparently he was friends with a lot of them, so I think Cole especially appreciated Punk doing all of that. There was also a patch for Larry, the dog, on Punk's jacket, along with the Chicago flag for Punk, a Puerto Rican flag for AJ, and a big crown logo on the back of his jacket for the late Harley Race, somebody who Punk has always admired and very much talks about in his promos a lot, excuse me. And so I'm not surprised he did that, and I thought it was actually really, really cool. So let's get to some story beats during this match. And I like the first note I wrote here was somebody finally attacked Roman during his setup for the spear, the whole ooh-ah thing. It feels like it's been a while since somebody actually did that, and I'm glad somebody finally subverted my expectations. To get to some more beats here from the match, and I actually wrote down a lot during this match because it was that good. We had Roman hit multiple Superman punches onto Punk as he was in a tree of woe, but not in the ring, but actually outside of it, almost up over the apron. And that bust open, initially it was Punk's mouth, they thought, but it also opened up his forehead as well. So back-to-back blood in the main events here at WrestleMania, which I did appreciate. Roman then hit Punk with the steps. Referee decided to let that one go. Little referee's discretion. And I had a lot of friends be like, the referee's going to let that go? Is this no DQ? And I immediately went, well, as somebody who watches a lot of AEW, it's up to the referee's discretion. It is what it is. If he wants to let it go, then he will let it go. And in the main event of WrestleMania, as they say, you don't want to disqualify somebody and leave the fans, well, pissed, for lack of a better phrase. Roman then powerbombs Punk through the Spanish announce table, rolled him back into the ring, went for a spear, but Punk caught him and hit a GTS. And then Roman had one of his classic late kickouts. One of the best at kicking out at 2.9, as Excalibur would say, infinitum. Wasn't his best, still amazing. That's how good he is at it. Punk then went for another GTS, but Roman countered and hit a spear, and Punk kicked out of that. Roman then decided to get a little cocky, and he got up Punk on his shoulders and set up for a GTS, throwing the ones up, but because he took too long, Punk was able to counter that and then hit a head kick on Roman, and then Roman kicked out of the pinfall attempt. Punk then decided turnabout is fair play, and he taunted Roman, doing the taunt and then hit a Superman punch. But it was honestly not the best. So Roman kicked out of that pretty easily. Punk then decided to get really shitty as a person, I guess, and he went through the crowd. He took an Ulafala off of a fan, put that on, did the ooh-ah, and tried to hit a spear, but Roman caught him into a guillotine choke. Punk was maneuvering through that, ended up rolling up and got Roman into a pinning predicament. So Roman had to kick, and then Punk was able to use that to get into an Anaconda Vice. However, Roman maneuvered his way out of that. Some nice counter submission wrestling here. And Roman got the guillotine back in. Punk escaped, tried to counter into a sharpshooter, but Roman laid in some punches and then got another guillotine in until Punk flipped him over. And then they got into a pinfall again. And then each man, I think, hit each other with lariats, and they took each other out. So they're both on their knees, and they just start to get up, and Punk starts ripping off his wrist tape. And he throws it at Roman, and the referee sees this, takes it, goes to remove it from the ring, and Punk utilizes this opportunity to punch Roman in the dick, which was very surprising to me, considering what we at least believe to be the heel-face dynamics. So, following that, Punk, GTS, Roman kicks out. Punk then brought Roman back to the announce desk. Now, Punk had been trying to hit this elbow drop through the announce desk multiple times throughout the match. And he finally was able to set up Roman, go up to the top rope, and hit this elbow drop through the announce desk onto Roman, which hurt Roman for a shoot because Roman let out an audible, "Oh, fuck," after Punk hit it. So he must have been hurting. So then Punk brings Roman in the ring, hits a GTS, and Roman takes it, falls into the ropes, and bounces back onto Punk's shoulders. Punk gets Roman up again, but then collapses due to exhaustion, blood loss, whatever it may be. Roman is able to recover. He hits a spear. Punk kicks out. And then you have the two men on their knees, and Punk is spent. And Punk throws a wild but weak punch at Roman, which completely misses. He falls. And then he kind of gets himself back up and basically just mushes Roman's face. Roman sees how weak he is. He gets up. And as Punk is slowly getting back to his feet, Roman goes for his super spear, hitting the ropes, and then just absolutely annihilating Punk with it and pinning Punk for the victory. Roman is now the World Heavyweight Champion. He had a very nice moment with his family at ringside after. This was a phenomenal match. I thought this was probably match of the weekend in terms of, like, this felt like a WrestleMania match. This also felt like a WrestleMania main event, but just considering, especially everything that happened last night and even some of what happened tonight, this felt like it lived up to the WrestleMania name. And I will admittedly say that it took me a minute to really think this one through. I initially didn't understand why they had Punk get all this momentum towards the end and then just collapse and end up losing this match. And then I realized the story they were trying to tell. And my friends did help me out. Shout out to the guys. And it does make sense. Punk threw everything he had at Roman Reigns. GTSs, but I think most importantly, obviously, using Roman's moves as well, the Superman punch and the spear attempt, the Anaconda Vice, but his big move, his, last-ditch effort, the haymaker that he was throwing to try to get Roman down was that elbow drop through the table. And after everything else that Roman had put Punk through, which you could visibly see a bloodied CM Punk, an exhausted CM Punk, against the seemingly unscathed Roman Reigns. Punk just didn't have anything left, which goes back to the point Roman made a few weeks ago. Punk is old. And I think now we kind of get the story going forward. Does Punk have what it takes anymore? Can he still go? Can he still hang with the best of the best? As I like to say, he's no spring chicken. So while I had to sit with it for a minute and think about it, I do actually think that this was a great piece of storytelling here by Punk and Roman. Excuse me, $2. It really was. It ended up being a perfect, I think, end to this match. And I don't know, man. You can say what you will about the build-up. Some people loved it. Some people didn't love it. Some people thought it was kind of told in reverse, where their last promo, everyone was like, wait, now they're in love with each other. Fine. Whatever you want to say. But you can't argue with how good this match was. You can't argue with the storytelling of this match. It lived up to the moment. It was everything it needed to be between these two guys. And I can easily say I think this was the best. I don't want to say the best moment of the weekend, but it was easily the best match of the weekend. Congratulations to the two of them. Congratulations to CM Punk for finally being able to main event properly WrestleMania. And congratulations to Roman Reigns for winning the World Heavyweight Championship. Something I think is very smart because it lends his name and his, history and his credence to that new title. All right, let's get into the comments here. I've not been ignoring you guys. I have seen you. Just, kind of doing my thing here. We say hi to Danny, who should be on here, but, it's all right. Yeah, thought it was a good match. Didn't like the winner. Fair enough. I know Danny's a big CM Punk guy, but it's okay. He's also saying WrestleMania will probably never be the same again. And I'm curious to see if WWE pivots following, and I mean no pun here, the backlash after night one. I hope they can actually take the criticism and learn and at minimum dial it back a little. Just like the level of just overt corporate greed I think we get in WWE sometimes is insane, and it detracts immensely from the show. We very clearly saw that last night. After we got off the air tonight, last night, we finally saw the match time, the actual amount of time wrestled compared to the amount of ad time and entrances and stuff like that. And it was abysmal. I mentioned that I thought Liv versus Steph was way too short. It was under 8 minutes. The AEW pre-show women's matches were longer than that on last Sunday. So hopefully they get a clue and realize that the people do not want this. But it's a problem where if they're continuing to make money hand over fist, they won't care. And honestly, welcome to late stage capitalism. It's infected this segment of wrestling now. My man James is over in Las Vegas. I don't know where he'll be in terms of the show. He said he might join, he might not. I don't know yet. If he's at least in the chat here, James, if you want to give us some updates on the ground from Las Vegas, from WrestleMania, we would appreciate it. Whatever you can give me and us here on the show, we would love to hear everything from you. Danny's saying that he's paying producer boy what he owes with super chats. Fair enough. We appreciate. I mean, you're literally paying yourself at this point, but thank you, bro. Danny's saying that he can't believe that we're back with Roman as champion. And I think, again, this goes just back to the fact that they want Roman on the lineage of this new World Heavyweight Championship. It makes a lot of sense. Now, I will talk about what I think they should do with the title in a minute when I go back to the top of the card. But it makes a lot of sense. Roman, they need to make this title feel important. And I think they have the lineage between, Seth being that fighting champion, having Punk on it. Like, it made it feel not, again, you're not going to get as equal as the Undisputed title, but it got pretty close. With the inclusion of Roman Reigns now in this title's lineage, it helps it get that much closer. We also say hi to Nasty's Hit Fan, and I'm pronouncing it that way on purpose. Danny, Super Chat Danny, thank you again, buddy. Imagine flying to Vegas to see these shows. Imagine flying to Vegas to see night 1. At least night 2 pay it off. Somebody who bought those tickets made the right call picking night 2 over night 1. Hi, Scutch. And it was definitely the move. If you're going to pick a night here tonight, I think 2 was the play, at least from how everything played out. And Danny telling me he's already in bed already, so he's not going to join me. That's a shame. It'd be nice to see your beautiful face again, even though we haven't seen it on the pod here in a while. All right, let's head to the top of the show. We had John Cena introduce us to the show once again. I do believe that he mentioned they were live on ESPN. Now, they were on the mothership for hour 1 tonight. No playoff games to override them and bump them to the deuce. But I'm pretty sure when he said they were on ESPN, ESPN got booed. I could be wrong. I thought I heard that. Maybe James can let me know he was there. But it's pretty funny. I found it funny. And considering the way they booed Stephen A last night, I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, great. I always love when all of my notes get messed up. But I'll be able to read them as we get into our opening match of the evening, which was the ruler, Femi, against the Beast, Brock Lesnar. They presented this like it was a fight, like a true heavyweight title fight. Oba's entrance was awesome. I mean, he's got that charisma. He's got it. As the kids say, aura. The strut, I heard Corey talking about it on the post show. 75 yards is apparently how long that ramp was. And he did the strut the whole way down. The crowd loved it. Michael Cole, in a very smart move, just shut up and let it happen. And it was awesome. They did a tail of the tape before the match, which I thought was really cool. They had the moving graphics for it. And it's just, they presented this like it was Tyson Holyfield. And I thought it was perfect. The two men at the start of the match, the collar and elbow tie up. They kind of went back and forth where it seemed like they were evenly matched. And then Oba actually eventually got the upper hand. He ate a couple of clotheslines, or lariats rather, from Brock as Brock came off the ropes. And eventually Oba hit a lariat onto Brock and knocked him out of the ring. And he was a little shook. And then as Brock seemingly tried to get back in, Oba got a little overzealous. He bent over to try to grab Brock. Brock pulled him down over the ropes. And that led to Brock beginning to get in some offense, especially as Brock pulled him out of the ring, threw Oba into the ring post, and then into the steps. We then went and took a trip to Suplex City. Brock hit a bunch of Germans, and then he hit an F5. Oba, however, I don't want to say no-sold it, because he was still on a knee. He was still very dazed. You could tell like he had taken a big shot. But when Brock came back over to attack him, Oba was recovered enough to hit Brock with a massive choke slam. Oba then got Brock up, hit a fall from grace, and then pinned him to pick up the W. Cole, as Oba was walking back up the ramp, called him the new the new next big thing, which I think is putting Oba over huge. Brock, obviously, putting Oba Femi over huge. This match did everything it needed to do. I'm sure a lot of people will call it perfect, and it probably was perfect. The only little tiny nitpick I'm going to make is I wanted it to be longer only because I wanted to see these two in the ring together more. I think these guys had great chemistry. You can tell Brock really likes Oba. Brock is one of those guys where when he likes a dude and he works with them, you can tell, and he gives so much in the ring. And he was doing that a lot here for Oba tonight. Obviously, in the end, putting him over and just making Oba Femi now into an absolute superstar. I mentioned before, I was going to say what I thought they should do next with Roman Reigns and the World Heavyweight Championship, something I brought up last night. I have no problem if Oba comes out tomorrow and beats Roman for that title on Monday Night Raw. I think if you're going to put the rocket on the kid, put it on him. Roman isn't around all the time. He won't be defending the title all the time. And I'm sure there's a storyline that they have probably built in, maybe with the Usos. I don't know. But in the post show, Oba did call him out. So I do think that is something that is coming down the pipeline. Do not be surprised if Oba Femi is your next World Heavyweight Champion. At minimum, I think he will be getting a title match against one Roman Reigns in the near future. I'm super hyped for that. Again, strap the rocket to the kid. Having him beat Brock and Roman, even if it's at Backlash, for example, within a month, he's already a made man. That puts him into the stratosphere. And I say go for it. He's got all the tools. He's a phenomenal promo. I honestly, the one he cut on Paul Heyman this past Monday was so good. He's got that rhythm, that cadence when he gets into that, when he's just on a roll, there's very few like him in that way. And he's got the whoo as he's doing it from the crowd. It's just, he's so freaking cool. Put the title on him. I don't see why not. Especially it's the World Heavyweight. And as I'm saying here, talking like, they're building up the title, putting Roman Reigns' name on it. It's also still a title I think you could do something like that with. It's not your main title. It's at best your co-main, but that still makes it number 2. And if you're going to have some fun with it, if you want to throw a real shock into it, have Oba win it as quickly as possible, as quickly as you want. I don't see why not. This guy's great. I cannot find a flaw in the man. So seriously, do it. I don't know if they will, but I'm really hoping they do. All right, some comments here before I get to the other side of things with that match. As we say hello to Maria, what's going on? Maria also saying, let's calm down. It's just a match. All right, fair enough. But I think I'm very high on Oba, and I want him to be pushed well. I think that we haven't seen somebody in WWE get pushed like this in a while. And obviously, the most recent example is Brock. There's a reason why Cole called him the new next big thing. And I kind of want that Brock Lesnar push for Oba right now. That's why I'm so hyped about it. I think the only other thing I can compare him to recently is the Kevin Owens push. He beat Cena in his first match. Granted, he ended up losing that feud, but he looked like $1 million. But then he kind of got, not pushed down the card, but he had to work his way back up to fighting main eventers. I know Cena was a quote unquote mid card champion at the time with the US title, but still, we haven't got somebody pushed straight into the proper main event in a while. I think Oba's the guy to do it if you are going to do it. We say hello to Fernando. What's going on, dude? He said this match was okay. Brock has had much better Mania matches. I would agree. I think Brock has definitely had better Mania matches. Like I said, I would have loved this to be a little bit longer so he could show off and show out a little bit more. But I understand why they did it the way they did it. You want Oba to take some offense from Brock, make him look, strong, make him still look like he's the guy, but then have Oba just not completely eat it, but I think the way they did it, quickly overcome it and be able to do that was, I think, a great move. Fernando also saying Roman is not winning the world champion just to lose it on Raw. That's ridiculous. I know. I don't think it's going to happen. I just would like to see it. I think it would be such a fun move. Fernando also saying Oba Femi just came out of development. Let's slow down. The same thing was said about Ryback and how did that work out? With all due respect, Ryback was not the promo Oba Femi is. He is not the worker in the ring Oba Femi is. Like I said, I'm very, very high on this kid. And granted, you could have said the same thing about Brock. If I was online back in the day, oh, who's this kid who just came out of developmental? Are we really going to push him there that quickly? Worked out then. It's possible it could work out now. It's all about, perception. And right now, the perception is that Oba is the man. Maria, I apologize, Maria. I thought you had a typo and I screwed up. But Maria's saying it's just March instead. And yeah, you're right. You are right. Dev, what's going on, dude? Been a minute. Good to see you. I hope you enjoyed your WrestleMania weekend. Glad you're able to join us. Fernando also saying that Gunther should have been the one to retire Brock and not Oba. Well, that then leads me into what happened in the post-match. So after Oba went up into the ramp, Brock actually sold the fall from grace for a very long time. He was basically just dead in the ring for a while. He eventually got up, came to, he took off his gloves, he took off his boots, and then Paul Heyman got into the ring and he hugged Brock. And then Brock, as everyone started realizing what was happening, played to the crowd, thanked them for, the crowd showed their adoration to him. A lot of thank you Brock chants, some thank you Lesnar chants, as it seems now that Brock Lesnar is retiring. This is a complicated one, I'm going to say. They mentioned this a bunch on commentary. Brock Lesnar is arguably the greatest combat sports veteran of all time. And you could make that argument because he has the crossover appeal of both WWE, which obviously, is worked, but is still, incredibly difficult. And he has the accolades to back that up. And then also, too, he went and fought in UFC and was the heavyweight champion multiple times. I mean, the man won the title with diverticulitis. He is one of the most freak athletes to ever walk this earth. I always say, and I know maybe not as much anymore, but if the aliens ever came down and we had to pick a champion to fight, I'm picking Brock Lesnar. He is that level of freak athlete. And I'm not even, counting, or I should be counting, his NCAA titles for wrestling as well. The guy has had a unbelievably insane career in the ring, in the octagon, on the mat. Hell, he would have made the Minnesota Vikings if he didn't, screw up his knee. He was going to make that team. He got hurt. That's how insane of an athlete he is. And he had never played football before. He is one of the best in-ring workers I think I've ever seen. Arguably one of my favorite athletes ever in terms of in-ring, in octagon work. And it's, if this is in fact his full-blown retirements, I'll get to what Fernando just brought up in a second. But if this is in fact the end for him in the ring, I appreciate the fact that he is going out putting over a hot new talent like Obafemi. I have to imagine Brock picked this guy. I don't think he would have, you know, done this if he didn't like Oba. And you could tell, like I said before, you could tell when Brock likes somebody. He not only sells for them, he makes them look like $1,000,000. You can bring that back all the way to their first interaction on Raw when Oba took him out and Brock audibly told Oba as Oba was standing over him, "Put your foot on my chest." Brock is apparently very high on this guy. He was very giving in this match. And when he wanted to be, Brock was very giving in the ring. So I congratulate him on a phenomenal career. Like I said, in the ring, in WWE, in UFC, and in all of his other sporting endeavors. I say this is complicated, obviously, because of the stuff away from the ring, his involvement, or alleged involvement in the Janelle Grant lawsuit and everything going on with the Vince McMahon scandal. And I think that obviously makes Brock very complicated to root for. It definitely makes him a bit controversial, but it definitely his return when he came back was very controversial, and a lot of people were very upset about it. And I say that at the most recent return, following the allegations made against him in the Janelle Grant lawsuit. So at the moment, it doesn't seem like WWE seems to care, and it's something as fans, we're going to have to, for lack of a better phrase, wrestle with. And I will leave that up to you, viewer, to decide how you feel about Brock Lesnar as the performer, as the person, and whether you can separate the two. But I would not be surprised if he was main eventing the WWE Hall of Fame inductions next year, depending on how everything with the lawsuits play out. All right, back to the comments here. We have James. Hey, James. All right, an update from live from fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada. Shout out to Killers. Just got him, so I missed most of the discourse. Love this 100% outcome. Love how the match played out, and loved the retirement. And as I bring that up, James, live from somewhere in Las Vegas, I'm believing the cab.
Yeah, I'm in the cab right now. So I'm sorry it's so dark. I can't be on too long because I don't want to be that guy in the cab. But one, you're killing it. Great job, Rev.
Thank you.
Two, this show was awesome. Night 2 was far, 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 far superior to night 1. We, all three of us here, I'm with Daniel, I'm with Papa G. We all love the show. We really, just speaking about Oba Brock, it was a lot of fun. It was the Hulk versus Juggernaut. And I know that there are some people who are disappointed the match didn't go longer. But
that'd be me.
When King Kong and Godzilla go at it, it's not for hours on end. It's quick bouts. And that's what this is. When you have two powerhouses, just like in boxing, you don't typically get the heavyweights going all 12 rounds.
Yes, and I agree with you. I like I said, I put this in our chat while we were talking about it. I understand why it didn't go longer. I just selfishly wanted more from these.
I get that. No, I get it.
Especially in retrospect, because we're apparently not getting more Brock Lesnar. I would have loved to see more of Brock versus Oba, because this could have been not only a great probably series of matches, but at minimum, I would have loved it, a 5-star classic out of these two guys. Something I think they could have put on.
I think the big thing is, unfortunately, we've seen that Brock only has a couple weapons left in the armory. You know, his repertoire is kind of dwindled over the years. And we got the classic Brock offense. We got the German suplexes. We got the shoulders into the corner. We got an F5. I think you said it in our private chat very well. Brock didn't look weak. He did everything that a Brock match typically has. The only difference here is he lost.
Yeah. And that was
So,
Harris, by the way. I want to shout out to him. He's the one who said that.
What was that?
I said Harris said that, actually. I don't want to take credit for what he said.
Oh, I said it? Fair enough. Fair enough.
But I do agree
So,
with you. And I also want to quickly mention that Oba no-sold all those shoulders in the corner.
That he did. And I don't think that's a reflection on Brock as much as I think it's just this is who Oba is now. So for me, everything worked. I got, like, what else could Brock have done at this point? We don't see Brock hit other moves anymore. You know, he's not hitting power slams the way he used to. He's not hitting spine busters the way he used to. So we got everything we were going to get out of Brock, and Oba just, not for me, not today. Chokeslam, powerbomb, he won. So to me, and again, I have the perspective of somebody who was there. So for me, I was satisfied. I got everything I needed. But I know it's a divisive topic. But I enjoyed it. And yeah, that's what I got to say about that.
Despite the length, I mentioned this before. I thought this match did everything it needed to do. It made Oba look like $1 million. It showed that Brock, you know, he still could go, but he brought out everything in his arsenal, and it couldn't put Oba down. And it was him realizing, well, shit, if I can't take down this kid, if I'm going to, you know, basically losing 2 moves, I'm done. And shout out to Brock for being that giving again to Oba. I thought it was awesome. I guess the only other question here, James, is a lot of people were speculating that A, Brock would retire at SummerSlam because it's in Minnesota, and B, it would be to Gunther.
I mean, look,
change that.
It's still possible. I don't know that you should at this point because it was such a lovely send-off, and you just completely erase that. Like, if he wrestles Gunther, win, lose, or draw, you're just going to recreate the moment he had in the ring tonight. You know, why do that? So I don't know, but if they did want to do it, they could just storyline it that Gunther literally won't let him retire.
And Paul Heyman does owe Brock that favor as we welcome Matt Gascone into the show here tonight.
I was going to bring up the favor. He owes him a favor.
There is the favor that Paul owes Gunther. So,
but here's the thing. Here's the thing with the favor, because I agree. First of all, Paul Heyman needs to stop giving out favors because it never ends well for him.
It's true.
But
sorry,
couldn't Gunther really be like, hey, Paul, you owe me a favor, so you need to force this man to work even though he doesn't want to? Like, does anybody have that power?
I would love to see like just a video package of Brock in like the mountains, and maybe he's completely shaved, or maybe his beard is twice as big, and Paul's just like, you know, coming to him like, you know, like he's some action hero who has to come out of retirement for 1 month.
I'm pretty sure that's the plot to Rambo 2.
Yes!
Or, excuse me, Rambo First Blood Part 2.
Yeah.
It's been done many times, but let's see it now in WWE with Brock.
Wait, now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure it's also the plot to Rambo 3.
Probably.
So, yes, I there's a way to do it, but I agree with you, James. I do think that if they, you know, pull him in for, you know, one last job, just when I think I'm out, they pull me back in. I think it would take away from this moment, which I thought was a very nice one. It was shocking to the fans, but I thought, you know, you guys as a crowd did a very good job of living up to the moment and giving, as I mentioned before, a controversial figure outside the ring, but a great one in it, his flowers.
No, it was conflicting for me. I wasn't booing. I didn't necessarily cheer. I definitely didn't say thank you, Brock. But like, I
Good
didn't
man.
I didn't poo-poo anybody who did do it. So it's a weird thing. Like you said, controversial outside the ring. Inside the ring, it's undeniably one of the all-time greats. So it's definitely a passing of the torch moment, definitely an era changing moment, and I think he did everything right in terms of Oba. I can confidently say, from a kayfabe standpoint, Gunther can go fuck himself. He doesn't need this, and I'm okay with that. Like, I don't need Gunther to get this, and if Brock escapes his clutches, we can only pray Ray does too.
Fair enough. Before you go, James, if everything outside of the ring doesn't really impact WWE's booking, does Brock headline Hall of Fame next year?
I mean, it's I guess a two-man race between him and Cena.
Oh yeah, good point.
Because the crazy thing is, like, I'm super glad Cena wasn't inducted this year. That way AJ could have his moment. But even beyond that, AJ got overshadowed by Stephanie, which sucks.
Yeah. How did I forget
Next,
Cena?
Were they the heads of the class, Stephanie and AJ?
I'm sure that's how they presented it, but we all know whoever comes out last is the one that is the real main eventer. And at Mania at least, it was Stephanie.
Yeah.
Beyond that,
can I make a shout out real quick? Hey, Stephanie, where are LGBTQ plus characters you've promised us over a decade ago? Where are they? They're nowhere to be found.
Matt, you do realize she does not, in fact, work at WWE anymore.
They're still, she still made a promise and she didn't keep it.
Fair enough. I got your back on that, Matt, but yeah.
As far as Cena or Brock, the reality is the fact that they're going to be in Saudi Arabia, I think those are two guys that don't care where they get inducted, because if the pay is good and it does well for the company, that's all they really care about. So, yeah, I could see either of them main eventing the Hall of Fame next year.
Hell, if they do Cena next year, because, he, like you said, he doesn't care and he's corporate, he could do it next year. And then, I don't know, maybe they have WrestleMania in Minnesota and they do Brock there.
I mean, Bray Wyatt's still.
Look at the sphere, guys.
Is there a reason we haven't gotten that yet?
So, James is trying to show
somebody
us
take a picture.
Hey,
I don't even know if I could flip it.
Yeah, it's all right. You're starting to break up a bit, bud. So I know you have to hop off. So if it's cool with you, we'll let you go.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I am, in fact, in Las Vegas, so this is a little bit harder. So I love you guys. You're killing it. Keep on keeping on, and go check out the in-arena video of Brock's retirement on our page. Did pretty well so far, and just a different perspective on this iconic, historic moment. Red, I'm going to ask you to kick me out.
Okay. All right. I will at least remove you. Thank you, James. We appreciate you calling in. If you can check back in with us later, feel free. But
I gotta stop your cousin from terrorizing the strip.
You did. Please do.
Yeah.
Be careful out there, Scooch. Have a safe flight home, guys. And thank you for joining us again, James.
I'm looking for that video he sent. Is it on our story? Is it on our Instagram?
Oh no, James took a video of Brock Lesnar, retiring, putting his boots and gloves in the ring and getting adoration for the crowd. So if you guys want to check that out on our YouTube page, following, watching us, we'd appreciate it. Like, if you want to get the in-arena perspective.
Open multiple tabs, everybody. Multiple tabs. Keep this one open. Open a multiple. You can multitask. I can't, because I'm old. I'm tired, and I work with children. I love you guys.
Good stuff.
Please guide us to the next point.
All right. Well, I'm gonna hit a couple of comments real quick. We had a few from Daniel, it's Scooch, who was literally sitting right next to James in the cab.
Love you, Danny.
Daniel saying Ober versus Brock was wonderful, great send off. Still not as emotional as Liv winning the title, but definitely emotional nonetheless. Somebody really likes Liv.
I wish
Dev,
her match had gone longer, and again, I was not super invested last night, but she won, which I was not surprised at. I'm very happy for her as well. So.
yeah, I mentioned this earlier. They got under 8 minutes last night for that women's title match.
They deserved at least 9. I would say I would have been happy with a 12-minute match.
The 12, it would have been more. It would have been obviously just better. It was last night was a mess. Dev, absolutely right though. Tonight was a lot better. Daniel saying Kylo Ren looks like he's gonna creep up on me like Jaws and slaughter me. Yeah, Kylo's been back there for a while, and I think you're the first person to actually notice.
Oh yeah, look at that.
I got Kylo, and then I got a bunch of Met stuff, and
you're gonna burn it, right?
And an old-timey review.
11 losses in a row.
We're not, Matt. We're not talking about that, please. Please. Daniel also saying the match with Brock and Oba should have been longer because we didn't get to see certain things like persistence, getting his ass kicked, and then kicking the guy's ass 10 times harder. And I see what you're saying there. We got that. It was just a little more condensed.
It honestly I feel like everything was just, let's get to the ads. Let's get to the ads. We need more ads. We need to get that revenue. Ads. Apparently James said there wasn't Hulk Hogan ads in the arena because there were for the broadcast. Maybe me and him missed something there. But that's what he said on the text.
So I will tell you this right now. I paid zero attention to any ads. I literally just got up after every match and did other shit. So I don't know what the ads were because I didn't care. Yeah, I mentioned last night I made a pound of pasta in between 2 matches. And tonight I was just, getting ready for this or getting ready for tomorrow or whatever it was. So
it was a lot of extended clips of the upcoming Hulk Hogan documentary. And I mean, it was excessive. Like, again, if it was like 30 seconds here, 30 seconds there, it was every ad break included like a 2-minute Hulk Hogan, thing. We're gonna get to our second match now. Before, can I mention something that leads into this?
Yeah, go ahead, please. Yeah, so, we're about to hop into the ladder match. So
our second match, it's the second match on ESPN. It is the ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship, and this match of course, includes Penta, the Intercontinental Champion, Rey Mysterio, the bouncy one.
If I may, I got you right here. It was, as you mentioned, Penta, the Intercontinental Champion, Javon Evans, who would be the bouncy one, Dragon Lee, Jade, McDonagh, Rusev, and obviously Hall of Famer Rey Mysterio. Now, what I'm guessing you're going to get to is the fact that 3 of those men did not have their entrances shown on television because it was during the commercial break.
Exactly. They were so invested in Hulk Hogan ads. This man is dead, and he is still burying half the roster. It's mind-boggling.
Oh man, that's a phenomenal line there.
It's on our story. I came up with it, but I've said it probably 5 times already. So,
I mean, you're not wrong. Look, I get wanting to promote not only the documentary about one of your biggest stars of all time, but a documentary about one of your biggest stars of all time that has been made in conjunction with one of your broadcasting partners. Very clearly, they overdid it last 2 nights.
30 seconds or 15 seconds, fine. I don't know how long the commercials were, but they must have been 2 minutes apiece, like every other ad. And it was so nauseating.
Yeah, and I'm sure it was, which is again why I literally actively avoided all of the ads, because I knew it was going to piss me off and take me out of the show itself. Literally the same way Matt just got taken out of our show. So no, I know, I was just messing around. But I was trying to not deal with any of that stuff. And I think personally it helped me enjoy the show more, especially tonight where the wrestling I thought was a lot better. And the matches were longer, even though weirdly enough, we ended up ending way earlier. So
I'd have to check the timing on the matches. I was at Murphy's Bar in Astoria. Shout out to them. They had a great watch party. It was night and day difference between my night 1 and night 2 WrestleManias. And also, shout out to them, when the ads played, they played wrestling music on top of them. So that was great. That helps with the Hulk Hogan ads.
I believe I've been to Murphy's for WrestleMania. I was there for, I think it was WrestleMania 40 night 1.
Cool.
Which means I missed most of the Jimmy J match. But they do a great job there. Shout out to them. Would love to go watch another pay-per-view over there at some point. And if I'm not mistaken, big Mets bar. So
yes, big Irish Mets bar. Shout out to Rory and everybody at Murphy's. Maybe we could do a pod there sometime.
They have the really big Lindor bobblehead, and I want it so bad.
Yes,
it's
the same place.
I did feel a little bad. I asked James during this whole thing, like, hey, did JD, did Rusev, did Dragon Lee get proper entrances at the show? And he was like, yeah, they didn't get full jobber entrances, but on TV they did, and I think that did kind of suck. At least
did they get half the ramp? Like I remember at 35, like not everybody went down the full ramp. Some people went through like a door halfway through the ramp. So they would get an entrance, but like the camera would play around so that you wouldn't, you know what I mean? Like you wouldn't notice from a TV perspective. But me being drunk at the beginning of the show, I'm like, wait, how did I miss him coming all the way from down the ramp? It's like, no, dude, there's a secret door over there. You're not that drunk. I'm like, okay.
I remember that. I don't know. I'm sure James is still in the comments. Maybe he could tell us, as apparently his cabbie got lost, whether or not they had full entrances or, they just kind of came in the side. It sounded to me like they had full entrances. So at least they got that adoration from the live crowd. Speaking of entrances, Rhea got shot up through the stage for the first time in a while.
Nice.
Which was nice to see.
The toaster.
Yep. I never heard it called that. I like that a lot.
That's what they called it in High School Musical. I remember, like I saw like a commercial. They're like, we're going across the country on stage, and basically Corbin Blue did the same thing that Rey Mysterio did. And they're like, we call it the toaster, and I'm like, I don't like you, High School Musical, but I like that. I'll remember that one.
Come to think of it, he really does look like a piece of toast coming out of the toaster in like the Thanksgiving episode of Charlie Brown.
We should call him the Brave Little Toaster.
Oh no, that's a completely different vibe. Also with entrances, we had Penta. He got a Brandon entrance. He ended up wearing a Mortal Kombat mask, which, look, it's Penta. So he looked really fucking cool. Do I love the fact that he got a Brandon entrance? No. But he's one of the few guys I think that could actually pull it off.
It was goofy as hell for me. He did the best he could, but it was oversized. You even saw him hold it at one point. But again,
when he did the Cero Miedo at the very beginning of the entrance,
it's crazy. And this is not a you know me, I can be super negative and I can trash the product all I want. And this is not a criticism, but it's crazy, like in a kind of a cool way, that WWE is like has a sponsor. It has like, they're doing stuff with Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter at the same time. It's fucking wild. Like, how did they pull that off? Bravo. I'll give it to you.
I found that so funny. And because they had to obviously promote Street Fighter because they have two of their guys in it. And then Mortal Kombat just paid them to, I guess, advertise. So
over the weekend, the New Day did a meet and greet, and it was Mortal Kombat themed. I didn't see it, but I saw the ad for it. It was on our story yesterday on Instagram.
Which is really funny because I think Woods is more of a Street Fighter guy.
I think they're just like, bro, can you like dress up as like Johnny Cage? And he's probably just like done.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I'm sure he loves both, but I think when he plays competitively, I think he usually plays Street Fighter.
Gotcha.
Anyway, to hit some moves that happened in this match, which are really cool. Penta ended up launching Rhea at one point over the ropes into Rusev, who was prone on a ladder, which was horizontal between the apron and the announce desk. And that ladder split right in half, which is really cool. I believe it's the West Coast Pop.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know the name of until Wade said it. So thank you, Wade. I appreciate that.
Oh, it's a classic, right? Mysterio classic for sure.
Yeah, I just forgot the name of it because Michael Cole forgets the name of everything.
It happens.
Later
forgets the name of what you call little people. He definitely forgot that and used
I will get to that.
Actually,
He
is a
did.
slur.
I will get to that. He did couch it by saying that they told him to call them that. So,
Oh, he did. Okay, I was at a bar. I
yeah,
just
no, I
couldn't
know.
say
Yeah, you
the
don't
N-word. I'm
get.
like, what?
Yeah, you don't get everything at the bar. I understand, but
We'll
yeah,
get
he
to it
did. He
later,
did say
sorry.
they want me to call them that, but all I could think of was John Mulaney. We'll talk about that more later. We had Penta hit a Mexican destroyer off of a ladder onto who was that? Oh, I don't. I
JD?
forgot who it was.
Is it JD?
Oh, yes, it was Jade McDonagh. Thank you. I forgot to write it down. I apologize.
Okay.
He hit that. It was another horizontal ladder that was set up between the ladder from which Penta hit the destroyer into the corner, and he just snapped JD in half. Felt like some real Lucha Underground shit right there. It was great.
Oh, yeah.
To get towards the end of the match here, Javon Evans was up on the ladder trying to get the title, and then Rusev took the ladder out from under him, so Evans was holding on to the big hook that the title was on, and eventually he fell, and then Rusev threw him out of the ring. Rusev then went up and climbed the ladder, but Evans recovered, went up to the top rope, and they called it an OG cutter from the top rope. I don't think it was a proper OG cutter, but he did hit one from there, and on Rusev, who came down off the ladder in probably the best ladder cutter spot I've seen since Sami Cody back for the TNT title.
My sentiments exactly. I thought the same exact thing. A tiny bit goofy that Rusev had to like jump off the ladder to take the cutter, but like it was just super clean that it didn't matter. Like it was just an awesome looking spot, and it's like, you know what I mean? Like we all know, like this is choreographed, that this is planned out. So it's just kind of like one of those things. This is suspension of disbelief. It was just like, hell yeah, that was great.
Yeah, I was watching. I caught a YouTube short. I think it was actually Wade Barrett explaining how they put ladder matches together, and I think specifically in this clip he was talking about the Money in the Bank, but you know it still applies here where ladder matches in particular are so like set up and thought out and practiced and rehearsed because you need ladders in certain spots during certain situations. This person needs to do this and break this ladder. This person needs to set this ladder up so that they can break it later, and so on and so forth. So, you know, it's just sometimes we lose that in our minds as people who know what's going on because it's such a car wreck and we're just so enamored by the violent aspect of it. We're not really noticing like these guys, you know, they're running like a Swiss watch over there, setting all of this stuff up. So I don't even think about that type of stuff sometimes during ladder matches just because that's what needs to happen. So Rusev, you know, kind of jumping off of the ladder, at minimum leaning into the cutter. I don't really care because, like you said, the spot was awesome, and Javon got a really, really cool moment there at WrestleMania. Penta then came into the ring after Evans hit that cutter, and he used the ladder basically and pushed off the second rung of the ladder to get some height and hit Evans with a pretty big Mexican destroyer. And then he climbed up the ladder and grabbed the title to retain his men's Intercontinental Championship. So, Matt, this was great. I thought this was a very smart move putting this on ESPN, you know, in the first hour because people were going to love it and hopefully draw eyes in. Loved everything about this. I was a little confused that all the luchadors were red.
Yeah, I don't like. We
But
talked
the
about
wrestling was
all the
great.
cosplayers. We were all decked out at Murphy's, and we were talking about that. It's like, bro, it's one thing. It's bad if you're wearing the same color gear as somebody else. It's worse when you also look similar. We talked about this last year when Charlotte and Tiffany had their title match. They're both white, blonde. What's the
Attractive
not-
blondes.
attractive? I was gonna say bosomy. Bosomy was the word I was looking for. Like, and they wore very nearly the same gear, and I'm like, what's going on? So they really need to coordinate better.
I honestly, I think the fact that the three of them were wearing red, I kind of assumed they did. It seemed like a coordinated effort for whatever reason. Maybe, within the next couple of days, something comes out as to why perhaps they did that,
It
if
won't.
that is indeed the
We'll
case.
never know. We'll never know. Maybe years from now, but it's just Penta and Ray specifically. They both wear pants. They both wear tops. You can't do that. Dragon Lee wears trunks. That's good enough. Like he's in the clear. The Ray and Penta are not. It's like, bro, make some changes here. Somebody's got to make a change.
It was I put this on a couple of, it's very Spider-Man pointing meme. But
they should do that. They should either do that or they should do maybe in the beginning of the match, they just look at each other up and down, and maybe shrug. You can make something out of this. Instead of us complaining about it, we can laugh about it. And they didn't do that. Does it ruin the match? By no means, but you don't get a pass. We are going to criticize you on it.
I'm not going to criticize. I just wanted to bring it up. You can. But honestly, though, I don't think
here. I'm the fashionista of the pod. I love talking about gear.
I mean, I wear jerseys every week, so I can't really say anything. But I think, though, gear aside, Matt, this match was awesome.
Agreed, and I will say the right winner came out on top. We have had kind of a semi-regular resurgence of ladder matches at WrestleMania. I particularly remember WrestleMania 31, they brought it back for the IC title. We got a title change that night. Then at WrestleMania 32, that was the night that Daniel Bryan won it.
I was going to say, was that the Bryan one? That's what I was kind of mouthing.
Yes. And then
yes.
at WrestleMania 32, it was Kevin Owens lost to Zack Ryder.
Yeah.
Then we had a bit of a gap. I don't think we had anything until 40 when both the tag titles changed. And then last year, did we have a ladder last year?
Not to my recollection, but
we were due for it. Let's put it this way, whether we had one last year or not, which I can't remember off the top of my head, we were due for a title retention. Like we were due for someone to successfully retain their title in a ladder match at WrestleMania.
Yeah. So, and Penta, again, he's another guy, like I said, he's so cool. I mean, he's always been cool through all the companies he's been through. He's the man, and he's a marketable star. They were even talking about him in the post show because he was on the panel, hanging out with George or Greg Kittle. There's a reason why I don't remember his name. But I know you're not a fan, but they were talking like, hey, did you get to run into your friend? And so, he's a really, really marketable guy, and I'm not surprised they kept the title on him, so he can continue to do all of that stuff. Right, let's hit some comments here. I did missed this from Daniel earlier, and I do apologize. This was in reference to Brock and Oba, saying that Brock could still be dominant and Oba could still be dominant and take a beating to show he can get back up. It's still dominance. To me, it didn't look like he beat the Beast. It looked like he beat an old, washed-up Brock. And I guess that was kind of the point, right? He was retiring. So I don't want to say washed up, but it just looked like, the hits weren't hitting the same way they used to. And that's why he decided to call it.
Yeah, I think it's still it's a nice send-off. Again, I wasn't here when you guys talked about it. It's a nice send-off. I don't hate it. And if that's it, fine. But I think we were all anticipating SummerSlam. And the fact that we were all anticipating AJ Styles making it to Mania, and that didn't happen. The fact that it's happening twice now, we're getting two kind of surprise, not AJ wasn't a super surprise, but it feels like both of these guys, maybe they ended one quarter too early.
Yeah. I think I get what you're saying.
I mean, quarterly pay-per-views,
yeah.
Yeah. They literally ended one quarter pay-per-view too soon.
Yeah. I think I'm okay with it just because it's going to give Oba just that little more oomph. Beating Brock was going to be a big deal in and of itself, but retiring Brock, that's a big notch in the ruler's belt, and I'm happy he gets that.
Absolutely, I'm very happy for him too. He did it for the culture, for Raheem, for everybody, and I mean, also we talked about it in the pod, and if it's the first time you're joining us, I'll tell you now. We all said there's no way that Brock can lose this match and somehow build himself back up to take on whoever he takes on at SummerSlam, whether he wins, loses, or draws there. You know what I mean? There's not enough time to rebuild him back up. Like, he might get like 1 or 2 matches. And again, we're talking about part-time Brock here.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way to reestablish that dominance in time for a satisfying retirement in SummerSlam if Oba wins tonight.
Exactly. And as mentioned, if this is not his actual retirement and they do end up doing SummerSlam,
it's
which
wrestling,
again
baby.
is
You
in
never
Minnesota,
know.
it's gonna have to be, as I think James kind of brought it up like right before you got on, it's gonna have to be Gunther going to Paul being like, you owe me this favor. I want to retire Brock Lesnar.
And let's get Rambo too.
Yes.
All right.
First Blood Part 2. We see some more comments here.
Absolutely,
James, as I mentioned, got lost because he was on with us. He also, like us, he thought it was crazy that all the Lucha guys wore red. Again,
Rojo.
Yep. Rojo. James also making a joke about the Hulk Hogan stuff, that Hulkamania is immortal. That's a good point. And because of that, apparently he can still bury people. In terms of the entrances for the ones that we did not see because of ads, James saying they had full entrances. Dragon Lee wore awesome dragon wings. Would have been really nice to see.
He's had them, and we'll see them behind the scenes. But I agree. Like, seeing them on WrestleMania would be nice. It would be cool. It would be special.
Yeah, and also too, moving now from Peacock to ESPN. If you paid for the top tier of Peacock, you got to see stuff that people who didn't pay for the top tier of Peacock did. You know, they would have ads. You would get a video package for the match.
Oh, okay.
It's weird to me now that on ESPN we are just straight up not getting entrances now. And we don't even have the option to pay extra to make sure we see everything.
Everything's weird, dude. Like we Netflix, the streamer that never had ads. That was their gimmick.
Yep.
They have Raw, and now there's ads, and you literally can't escape the ads for 24 hours.
Netflix won't even send me a DVD anymore.
Well said.
So, yeah, it's a weird thing. I've seen plenty of people predicting that ESPN is going to come out of this deal absolutely hating it. And quite frankly, I think the fans are going to be the ones who hated this the most.
I mean, their reporter hates it. So.
Yeah, that's very true. James also apparently did not get the angle of Rey Mysterio getting shot up out of the stage. Yeah, he got the old SmackDown entrance. And this was something that I noticed last night because of those towers on the side of the stage. If you were sitting at a certain angle to the stage, you weren't really going to be able to see people as they walked in. And I actually knew where you guys were sitting. If I can dime on y'all, they were 50-yard line upper deck. So, dead on seats. And
you might not see that angle. Okay.
Yeah, and the fact that you can't see an entrance from what should be a very good seat is a little crazy. I think just support set design.
You're never going to get all the angles. I wasn't paying attention, but it was very, I could see it at WrestleMania 35 because I was there. It was the pillars on all 4 sides of the ring.
Yep.
Giant pillars that most of the crowd, you were missing like a third of the action because there's a fucking giant pillar.
That's going to unfortunately happen anytime they have an outdoor show in case of inclement weather, but I understand and I felt the frustration. I think at least when I was at WrestleMania, the second one in the Meadowlands, I don't remember what number it was.
35?
Yeah. The one where Becky won in the main event. Yeah. They had those pillars up. I was luckily not impacted by them, but they were much smaller than they were, say, in my like Miami when they had it for I think it was the Cena Miz one where those they were palm trees and they looked ridiculous. And
they were pretty obnoxious for me at 35. That's why we moved over like 2/3 of the way through the show. Stole George Kittle's seats. He didn't say anything, and he was shouting in the end of our aisle, and didn't say anything till the end of the show. And I said, like, all right, bro, like, I'm going to steal some other seats. And I may or may not have stolen some seats. We'll see. Brought home some seats. We'll see. I don't know. Yeah. Can't say confirm or deny. Please stop me.
In the meantime, Fernando thought it was a great ladder match. James saying the M word in reference to the Danhausen segment is a wrestling term. You're correct. It's minis. Right. It's minis. He's right.
Hey! look who's very, very on top of things.
Yep. And we have Ja Crispy joining us. Welcome. We appreciate you being here. Saying that they cannot believe Brock Lesnar retired. It was very shocking. And again, as Matt and I were discussing,
use the they pronoun. You're on a roll.
I'm very good at my job here, dude.
You're so progressive.
Brock was shocking, especially I think because everyone was kind of assuming that it would be Gunther at SummerSlam, but that's what happens when you assume. You make an ass out of you and me. All right, let's hit our next match here, Matt. We had Sami Zayn face off against Trick Williams, who was brought in by Little Yachty for the WWE Men's United States Championship. As I just said, Little Yachty introduced Trick, and I'm not the biggest Little Yachty fan. I quite frankly don't know much about him, but this was the perfect level of celebrity interaction, I thought, that I'm fine with. Little Yachty, he's a big star, even though I don't love his music. He is still a big rap star. He fits in perfectly with Trick's vibe. His entrance for Trick was awesome. He puts Trick over, makes him look cool as hell, and the company gets their crossover. This was, I think, great for all parties involved. It just unfortunately came in a year where everyone is so frustrated with the forcing of certain celebrities into other storylines that I think Yachty's going to get a bad shake here.
Did he rap for
He
Trick?
did not. He just literally just introduced Trick and
That's
hyped him up on the way down.
If you're a rapper and you got a guy who looks like he might come out to rap music, like he's got that, Trick's music does not have lyrics.
All you guys, the fans chanted, "Whoop that Trick," and that's all you need.
I was gonna say, it sounds like it's got the beat of like, this could be like, maybe this is a rap song, maybe this is R&B, like maybe it's hip hop, rap, hip hop, whatever you want to call it. But like, this is the kind of guy, he's a rapper. Why isn't he like performing? Like, this is what you do.
I didn't mind him not performing. I thought him just coming out and being, his hype man was cool. And maybe this is just, more my speed here, but I thought he was great, man. I thought he played his role perfectly. I thought he played his role perfectly in the match, which was incredibly minimal, which is the way it should be, I think. So I thought he was phenomenal in what he wanted to do. And as somebody who's apparently a very big WWE fan, Yachty got to live out a dream. And so shouts to him. I liked his involvement. The only thing I wish we could actually do is get Terrence Howard into rap "Whoop That Trick" for Trick, but Terrence Howard wants way too much money for anything he does, so I highly doubt that'll ever happen.
I could have done without him. It's just kind of weird because also like the crowd's not into him; they're into Trick, and it's like they're trying like Trick's a face now, and like Sammy's a heel. I don't know. I kind of missed when that happens. I heard about some stuff with Sami, but like. And Trick, I thought it was cool. I did see some comments about his long coat, like it's a CVS.
The train he had. Yes, the CVS proceeds to go to call.
Toilet paper, that was another one I saw.
It was a choice. I didn't like it or hate it either way. It was what he wanted to do for his entrance. The memes are good, apparently, but it wasn't so over the top that I have to be like, oh, I hate it. But it wasn't
I liked it more than Lil Yachty, who I kept calling Akon. I honestly couldn't remember who he was. I'm like, is this Akon? Is this there was another rapper.
With all due respect, I don't think Yachty was for your demographic. So that's probably why you weren't a big fan.
I was naming like decade-old rappers, like guys from 10 years ago. It was really bad.
If you want to feel old, Lil Yachty's been around for over 10 years.
But it took him all this time to get to WrestleMania.
Yeah, that's true. To get into the match here, Yachty actually got taken out by Sami at one point, who threw him into the barricade. And then a little while later, Sami was setting up for a haluva kick, but Yachty had recovered and he draped Sami over the top ropes as Trick was kind of distracting the referee. And then Trick hit a spinning kick, but Sami was able to kick out of the pinfall attempt. Trick then went for another kick, but he almost ran into the ref. Sami used that to roll Trick up, and Trick kicked out. Sami then hit the exploder suplex in the corner and again went for the haluva kick. However, Trick came out of the corner as Sami was running at him and hit the trick shot and pinned Sami to win the Men's United States Championship. So I did like this match a lot, Matt. Lil Yachty aside, again, minimal involvement. He didn't impact the finish of the match, so I'm totally cool with what happened. I like this a lot, and it wasn't I've been having this big argument in my head, especially after last night, of like, what's a WrestleMania match? And I know, like I said this at the top of the show, the main event was a WrestleMania match. I felt like Ober and Brock were. I felt like the ladder match was. This was, I want to say it was it felt like it should be a WrestleMania match. It was just mid-card, and I'm trying to bring myself up back from the depths of last night where I don't want to be shitting on everything because I was so annoyed. And like, I'm looking back and I was like, no, Nick, this was actually good.
It was good. It wasn't great. And you want to be great at WrestleMania. And we've seen Sami be great at WrestleMania. I think him winning the tag titles with Kevin was great. I think you could say his Gunther match was great, even if we weren't necessarily looking for Sami to be the one to dethrone Gunther's IC title reign. Again, this was just good. It wasn't great. And I think the only great part of this match, which unfortunately, in my opinion, did get sullied a little bit, is that in the middle of the match, they are both on the apron, and Sami hits a brain buster.
Yes, that was a great move. I loved seeing that on the apron here at WrestleMania.
And again, yes, the apron. It's the hardest part of the ring. So Trick falls down to the ground, and unfortunately, he starts crawling way too early. It's like, bro, you just got hit with a brain buster. We never see these in WWE. You got hit on the hardest part of the ring. The only better way that Sami could have done this was if it was on a foreign object, which would have gotten him DQ'd, or if he did it on the top rope like he did in his independent career. You should not be crawling at like 5 or 6. You should be dead until 9, and then you should miraculously wake up and dive into the ring. But that didn't happen. Like, he was crawling. Sami came out. Sami, I think he kicked him. It was kind of like not technically a haluva kick, but something similar. And then Sami went back into the ring, and then Trick was able to get in before 9. That was again, best spot of the match, and just stupidity, like in the booking or the personal decision to be like, again, it's like, bro, I just explained why you shouldn't be recovering from that. Like, I'm not saying you need to get counted out. I'm saying it was booked poorly in that spot. Again, you're just making like a great move, a devastating move. We'll talk about another devastating move later tonight in the women's match, and you just shit all over it.
I think James in the chat here jumping in saying Sami has hit brain busters in WWE before. They're not unbeatable. And I think
say they were.
Yeah, I think if I'm picking up what you're putting down here, you would have liked a little more time, I guess, outside the ring where Trick was selling and then still beating the 9 count, but you got a little more.
Absolutely. I'm not saying he should have gotten counted out. He was crawling. I wasn't looking at I'm at the bar, but I felt like 5, 6, 7, he was crawling and Sami came out. He should be dead until 9 and then jump back into the ring, or Sami comes out to like stop the count even. Like, there are options here.
I think I would prefer the latter if we're choosing between the two there, just because Trick would have, because more stuff happened on the outside. But
Yeah,
I get what you're saying, and I don't want to take away from the fact that we got a really sick brainbuster in WWE. Where again, James mentioned he has hit them before. We just don't see them a lot
few
in
and far
WWE. Yes.
Like, does anybody else in WWE get to hit brainbusters? Like, I honestly,
Not to my knowledge, but again, I don't watch enough consistently.
Sammy's only hit like 3 or 4 or maybe 5. Like, I can name a handful of times, and it's like at WrestleMania that he gets to hit them.
Also, I didn't realize, because I wasn't watching Ring of Honor at the time, I didn't realize that Kyle Fletcher, who is obviously a very big El Generico fan, took the turnbuckle brainbuster from Generico. I knew he hits a haluva kick all the time. I didn't know he was borrowing that as well. So that's really cool knowledge that I'll keep in my back pocket in the future. But I like this a lot, and I'm gonna jump in the comments here for James again, who's doing a great job covering helping us out from Vegas, saying it's important to have mid-card matches at Mania, but they need to feel important. Trick winning made it feel important. He does feel terrible for Carmelo, who, yes, I agree as well. That could have been probably handled a bit better. But I think more importantly here for me is thing where this match did feel important. I think the involvement of Yachty actually kind of helped it make it feel important. The U.S. title kind of meant something, I think, for the first time in a quick minute. And it obviously wasn't going to reach the heights of the main event, but it was a very, very good mid-card WrestleMania match.
It was solid. It was not as good as LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu in the U.S. title match last year. That's what I will say. I think that's
fair.
That I would say is a great match. This is a very good match.
Yeah. I would probably have to watch that back, but if you want to make that argument, I think you are.
I'm not going to die on that hill because I would also like to watch it back. I just remember enjoying that match a lot. This match I just liked, and again, I had my complaint. Did that ruin the match? No, by no means. But it is a complaint that I have, and I stand by the complaint. I will say I'm very excited for Trick. I would love to see him and Carmelo kind of tease maybe having a match. Don't do it yet. Hell, they're both face. Why not have them team up? And maybe they can do something about the really stagnant tag title scene with Damian Priest and R-Truth. Like, you could have Trick be a double champ. I'm not saying you got to do it long. I'm just saying there's potential here to do some stuff. Trick has some options. And so does Carmelo.
Yeah, I only roll my eyes just because the tag title scene on both Raw and SmackDown are abysmal right now. And
they don't have
I know, they just don't book them. Like, forget they don't book them well. They just don't book them. The fact that the only reason that the tag titles are on TV on SmackDown is because Priest and Truth have them. So I think there is that. But obviously there's the history with Melo and Trick, and I would imagine that they want to keep the kayfabe with their beef back from NXT. James saying he doesn't think Trick is officially a face yet. Face or heel, he's still getting the big pops. He was definitely the face here tonight in the match. So, but this is one of those things where, I said it right after this match in one of my chats, was like, push the kids. They're pushing Oba. They put the title on Trick here. Like, push the kids. We need to start getting these guys who have come up from NXT up into a higher slot so that as dudes like Brock, who obviously just left, but sooner or later, Punk, Roman, eventually Cody, these guys are going to start retiring. You need to make sure a guy like Trick Williams, who is over with his lemon pepper steppers, are slotted so that they can step up into those higher roles. And I think this is a way to help solidify that, for Trick.
And when I said Trick has options, he could be a heel. Like James said, he's not officially a face. He could be like little Yachty's not probably going to be like, maybe he shows up on SmackDown, but I don't think he's going to be here long term. They could slide Trick right back into being a heel with the lemon pepper steppers and taking on faces. So again, the kid has options.
Yeah. He's another one of those guys. He's got a lot of swagger, he's got it. And he could honestly, he can kind of run the tweener route too if you want. Just let it, whoever he's facing against, he can kind of just lean one way or the other and be fine with it. To get to some comments here for this match, we have John. What's going on? Appreciate you joining us. Call this a great title match.
Cool.
Also
We're
saying
glad
that
you liked it.
WWE is back to TV PG-13, which I believe is TV-14 technically, but I get what you're saying. Triple H lets them push the envelope a little bit. I think we're still technically at PG, but especially on pay-per-views, when it's warranted, Trips will let them, do what they have to do. Use a little blood, maybe some cursing, a pile driver here or there. And I do think it helps build up the animosity between certain wrestlers when they do that. So it works well for what they're trying to do for the most part. Some other stuff here. James saying that Sami is a mid. Okay, James said just a mid Carter, and fuck you. Sammy's the man. Ain't nothing supposed to be unbeatable from mid Carter. No, we're gonna have Sami win the title soon. Don't worry.
Yeah, world title in a year. But let's get some non-James. Do we have any non-James comments?
We don't have any non-James comment, but he had a typo, so I won't put it up. But he did disagree with you in terms of last year's U.S. title match being better than this one. But
not here.
Reasonable people can disagree, and that's what's great about wrestling. Next up, we had our street fight. It was Dominik Mysterio against Finn Balor, coming out as the Demon. So Adam Pearce made this a street fight in the pre-show. I actually saw the backstage clip, and Dominic was arguing that he should not have to fight the Demon he should not have to wrestle the Demon. Finn Balor signed the contract. I should not have to have a wrestling match against the Demon. And Adam Pearce goes, I agree. And he goes, I cannot believe I just said that, and I'm agreeing with Dominik Mysterio. But you're right. You should not have a wrestling match against the Demon. So you're going to have a street fight. And that's how this came to be. Literally like an hour before the match. Some notes on the gear here for these guys. Dom was rocking a Perro Aguayo and some Cento gear, which was really cool. Cole sold it as him being disrespectful to those guys, but you kind of know low-key, knowing Dom, like it was a tribute to those guys. So shout out to him for doing that stuff. Dom also threw the mask he had on at Cole, and then Cole went, ew, there's something wet in here. I got Dominic's juice on me.
Whoa.
And I guess you didn't hear this at the bar.
Nope.
And Wade goes, a lot of people would like to have Dominic's juice on them. And I was like, I never need to hear that phrase again. Fernando Cole is stupid.
Something tonight.
Oh, it was Cole and Wade.
Well, Wade, I think, was just trying to pile on.
Wade off the top rope with a Dominic's juice comment.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Not to mention all of Dominic's cronies. He had a bunch of masked.
Yeah.
Flanking him.
Yes, and it was just, oh god, it was a cool entrance, and then Cole just had to make me do, gag for 20 minutes. I will. Finn, it's first time we've seen the Demon in a while. I think since 3 years. Thank you. Since we had that act of God make him lose to Roman Reigns when
no to Edge at WrestleMania. He lost twice.
Was that after the Roman match?
Yes, twice in a row he lost as the Demon. He's lost 3 times as the Demon in WWE, once to Samoa Joe,
which made sense.
in NXT, so it's like it's almost non-canon. And then Roman Reigns and Edge.
Thank you. I forgot which order the Edge and Roman matches happened. So thank you. I appreciate it. But seeing him back, the paint was great. Because he had a cool spiky helmet. It looked very Mad Max. And then he got all the New Japan streamers he could ever want. And then he even got some red smoke canisters, like he was, going out there for Man United, just for good measure.
Again, this would have been not. It's not a big deal at all. And this is barely a criticism, but I did joke on our story on Instagram yesterday that I wanted to see people dressed up as the themes. And last night's theme was definitely, it was Mad Max inspired. That's what all the graphics look like. Tonight was Tron. So like clearly Finn thought he was wrestling the Mad Max show, but in fact he was wrestling the Tron show. What are you gonna do?
Love me some Tron. Maria quickly calling Cole the biggest dork. He is a dork. And sometimes it's like endearing, and sometimes it drives me nuts. To get into this match a bit, we had Finn at one point kick out of a 619 and frog splash at 1, which I thought was interesting. It was early, but still, it was pretty interesting. Dom put Finn through a table, hit a chair-assisted 619 and a frog splash. Finn kicked out of that as well.
Two dose.
Yep. Then at the end of this match, Dom took a table from the outside, got it into the ring, and then had a bit of trouble setting it up. Now, I don't know if Dom worked fucking up setting up a table or it actually happened, but either way, he played it off perfectly because the time it took him to set up this table allowed the demon to recover and power up and rise up as Dom was dealing with the crowd because they booed him for not being able to set up the table. He then took it to Dom, grabbed a chair, wore out that chair on Dom's back, wrapped it around his neck, hit him with a shotgun dropkick into the corner, and then he set up Dom on that table and hit a coup de grace, which is how you pronounce it, Michael Cole, through the table and pinned Dom for the win. And then in a kind of pretty cool spot after, Finn stood over Dom and then closed his eyes like he was, Dom was dead. And then, I like that. I'm happy for Finn here. My immediate notes were, I'm happy for Finn. I'm happy the Demon won again. Thank God, made the Demon look strong. My notes literally say, holy shit, this was mid. And I think it's because I don't think it was bad. I just think it was just every other WWE street fight I've ever seen.
They didn't do anything special, and that's, I think, something a lot that we had to deal with this entire weekend is that everything seemed pretty standard and be like, okay, how do we get from point A to point B? And it's just all kind of telegraphed and all kind of by the numbers and not very inspiring. And again, we just had an unsanctioned match that was very similar to this match last night. At least, would you say that? I didn't really get to watch all of it. Was the street fight tonight similar to the unsanctioned match?
I wouldn't say so. There were some kendo sticks, some chairs. I think the street fight the unsanctioned match last night was more revolving around that toolbox and the plunder that came out from under it. Obviously, you're going to have similarities, chairs, tables, and so on. But this one was more wrestling. And then occasionally the weapons came involved into the wrestling moves. Like I mentioned, the the ladder assisted 619. Oh, actually, sorry. The ladder assisted 619 was the ladder match with Ray. The chair assisted 619 was
we had
Dom.
chairs and tables.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. But they were using them to hit wrestling moves as opposed to using them as just strictly weapons.
Okay. Well, we did have a lot of chair shots, but I'll give them.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll give them some grace there. I think something that's missing from this show, and again, we don't know the Vegas laws, is that there's nothing going on in the crowd. It's all very controlled environments. You're not. There's something missing, and is it just the soulless corporate, chicanery that this is becoming? Are we losing any kind of artistic creativity besides war paint and entrances? Because it feels all very by the numbers, and again, we're not getting a lot of time here to tell a story, so the matches are all kind of like, all right, get to point A to point B to point C, and let's take this thing home. And so the other thing is that makes me sad is that the fact they made this a street fight makes me believe we're probably not getting a rematch for these guys. Like, this is a one and done.
Yeah, I don't want to say probably, but that seems about right. I mean, maybe they run it back at Backlash, but why? But I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think, especially the first thing you said about this match is they didn't do anything special. And I think that is what is supposed to set a WrestleMania match apart from literally any other show. Is you want to do something special and unique and literally create a WrestleMania moment in the way it was intended to be, and not the corporate version of what Michael Cole yells every time something they want juicy and big happens. And you had, like I said, what felt like a standard street fight. I could have maybe caught this on any Monday Night Raw. It probably would have been a pay-per-view match as opposed to that, but it didn't feel like it had it. And I want to hope that WrestleMania matches have it. And I hate saying this about a match between two guys I love. Finn is one of my boys. I have adored Finn ever since he got to NXT, because it was I didn't know what New Japan was yet. And I didn't get to New Japan until being the Elite. And then I went back and I watched, Finn do his Fergal do his thing over there, and kick ass. And I went, oh shit, yeah, this guy's the man. And I've loved him ever since then. I love what Dom is doing, especially since the heel turn. His work has been unbelievable, legitimate prodigy. You don't see guys skip NXT like this and immediately just be this good. And the fact that I'm going at this match the way that I am, like, legitimately pains me, but it's because I want more for these dudes. And you got a decent street fight out of them, but it didn't hit the way I wanted it to. And it's because, like you said, there wasn't anything that made it special, that stood out, other than Dom maybe fucking up, setting up a table.
I think what would make this special, and again, I don't think this is long-term for them, is you have the rematch at Backlash, you have Dom win, you have the blow-off match, and you do it in AAA for the AAA World Championship, and Dom loses the AAA Championship to Demon Balor. Demon Balor, who we've seen the puppet demon,
Demonito,
that everyone loves. And I mean, look, I know we want to do stuff with El Grande Americano. I'm not saying it has to be a long title reign with Finn. I think we can get the title on El Grande Americano. We just got to figure out which one it's going to be. I think it's going to be Kaiser, but we got to figure that out first.
So the El Grandes Americanos are having a mask versus mask match at, I think it's Triple Mania, but I'm not entirely sure. Whatever their next big show is, they're having that. So you could probably work there. I got to imagine Gable loses because Kaiser is just killing it down there.
I mean, they both did, but Gable is the one that doesn't need it at all. Gable is absolutely superb on his own. Not that Kaiser isn't good. I do like him, but I was always a Fabian Eichner guy. That was my guy. His old tag team partner. So, but we'll get to Triple Mania some other time. What else we got? Do we have comments? Do we go to the next match?
Well,
keep moving because I'm
tired. I just wanted to say something about what you just mentioned about the Finn and Dom moving forward here. I think you could run this back at Backlash. I think it would probably be just Finn straight up, the person, not the demon, versus Dom, and then you could give Dom the win there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then maybe if you want to run the Triple Mania match, sure, I guess. I don't know. It depends literally if Finn wants to work Mexico or not. But
again, it's a short title reign, and I think the Backlash match however it happens, Dom gets to pick the stipulation, and the stipulation is that he can't be the demon. So it makes, you know what I mean? There's a reason not to do it, just not to, make sure the demon doesn't lose and that Finn loses. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. And also, too, I do think that it was interesting that the Judgment Day was not involved tonight.
It made sense, but you're right. It is interesting, and I did question it as well. I was willing to bet that they wouldn't be, just because JD had been in the match and everyone else was booked yesterday. And they don't do a lot of double booking. They do sometimes, but not a lot of times.
Yeah, maybe not JD, but the women, I don't know. I thought it would have been... It would have worked with the street fights.
Exactly.
Because it's no DQ, but the fact that they weren't out there, I think, leads me to believe that should they have a second match, again, presumably at Backlash, and it's just Finn Balor versus Dom straight up, then we're going to get interference.
And that's why I wish tonight wasn't a street fight, so that there wasn't the expectation that something might happen. You know what I mean? Because again, I was going in either whatever the stipulation is, as long as it's 1-on-1, I would assume that no one's coming out to help Dom, unless it's like Carlito who gets re-signed.
That would be hilarious.
That would be great. I would pop for that, even if it was like a one night only thing, like he called in a favor. But
I miss
it. The fact that we had the street fight that would make it easier to have interference, maybe set up the expectation that it might happen, and then disappointment that it didn't.
Yeah, it's a little backwards booking, because you have your street fight first, and then presumably, again, if they do the rematch, your regular fight second, but it is what it is. All right, so let's move on to our next match. Don't worry about that, Matt. As we had Jade Cargill versus Rhea Ripley for the WWE Women's Championship. There was some jabroni on commentary. They introduced him, didn't say a word. Cool.
I didn't know, did he pay to be there? Is that what that was?
They announced him as somebody, and he didn't talk. I was like, oh, we're going to have a guest commentator for this match. And I wrote it down, and he didn't say shit.
They were hyping him up hardcore, so I thought he was someone special, but then someone in the bar was like, no, he spent like 20 grand to be there. But you're right, he said nothing, apparently. I don't know.
Must be fucking nice to have 20 grand to drop and do that. Anyway, so in tradition with the gear, Rhea wore white for the first time in what seemed like forever. The last time I remember her wearing white was during the pandemic WrestleMania, when she faced off against Charlotte. I believe that was for the NXT Women's Championship.
She was dressed like Vegeta, yeah. So
yes.
white and blue with a little bit of gold trim. Great outfit.
Yeah, this one, she said, or at least told Cole, and Cole told us that she wore it because it was representing her breaking out of an insane asylum because of how crazy Jade was driving her. And you could kind of see that she had like the number on her chest. It almost looked like a prison jumpsuit, but because it was white, it was more insane asylum. So interesting touch. But
I thought she looked really great. I really dug this look. And, shout out. I was really impressed. And, she met people had been recently saying, like, she's not as, because she was, kind of like a muscle mommy as
oh, yes.
And she had stated that she's been struggling and, dealing with an eating disorder. And the fact that she, just said that publicly, kind of almost nonchalantly, I was really impressed with. And we wish her the best and hope that, things, she looked great. So I hope things continue to go well, and I hope that journey for her has a positive outcome. And I think something like 15 years ago, if she said that, I feel like she'd get buried booking wise, there would be backlash. And obviously we're going to get to what happens in the match. It does not appear to be that way.
Yeah, exactly. And, shout out to her going out there, giving voice to what she is going through. It's very strong of her. And she did it very nonchalantly, funny enough. But don't talk shit about people and their looks, guys. You never know what they're going through. And
from what I'm sure there's always people talking shit, but the things I was seeing was just it looks like she slimmed down. I wonder if that was a personal choice. Has she changed her her regiment, and like we've seen in wrestling, like people go through all kinds of like transitions, and like like there's no one size fits all in this industry or in any industry or life. So
yeah, I mean, even there was a thing, I think it was on Twitter the other day, where SRS had quote tweeted one of those stupid aggregation Twitters, and it was a picture, one of those graphics of Rhea saying that she had lost weight because of her back issues, and in an interview, and SRS was like, I've never seen this. When did she say it? And Rhea tweeted back at him, I never said this. It's bullshit. So
maybe someone was trying to watch her back or something. Her back. I'm sorry.
I literally vet your sources and be nice to people. But again, hopefully, as you mentioned, hopefully Rhea is working her way through this in a positive manner, and whatever outcome she wants and gets, hopefully, as you mentioned, is a positive one. Much like the end of this match for Rhea. So
we'll get there, folks. Don't worry.
Yes. So to jump into this, we did have Mishin and BFAB interject themselves into the match towards the end of it. Mishin showed up first. She distracted the referee. And then BFAB saved Jade from a razor's edge. And then Jade threw Rhea into the post. Mishin then kicked Rhea's head into the post as the referee was distracted. And then Jade hit one of her new moves, the Sandstorm. Great name. But Rhea was
great name. I'll give her that.
Yep, Rhea was able to kick out of that. Jade then ordered.
Hold on. Let's. Are we going to talk about the Sandstorm, or
if you want to discuss it a little bit more, go ahead.
The Sandstorm, if you don't know, is the one-winged angel made famous by AEW's own Kenny Omega.
May or may not have been paying attention when I wrote it down.
She hit a solid one. I'll give her that. I do not think she hooked the leg. Did she? Like, I saw the clip and it didn't look like they didn't finish the clip. It looked like she did not hook the leg.
See, but yeah, it's one of the downsides of taking notes is occasionally you have your head in the computer, and
also the downside of being at the bar is like,
at least you saw that. I'm sure James will pop up in the comment any second, just be like, "How the fuck did you not realize it was a one-winged angel, you idiot?"
I was watching and I was just like, wait, what? And they're like, Sandstorm, and I'm like, that wasn't the one wing, and they show the. I'm like, oh. So famously, kids, if you don't know, this move that may or may not have been created by Kenny Omega, but it is famously like known as his move, whether he created it or not. He's got the guy like electric chair style. He like swings one of their legs out. He grabs their head and swings them down. Boom! They land on their back. Their head is in his crotch, and he hooks the leg. 1, 2, 3. Only one person is ever kicked out of this move, Okada. So
no,
what Okada?
It was not Okada.
No,
so the only person who was ever kicked out of the one-winged angel on a legitimate 3 count is Kota Ibushi.
Okay.
Okada got a rope break during one of their matches in New Japan, and Kenny kicked out of it when Hangman hit him with it.
MJF just kicked out of it, right?
MJF kicked out of it, but it was about 20 seconds. So. And that was this past Sunday. Side note.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
James wanted to die seeing this. But he did say Jade did get some training from Kenny and Brian. So he believes that she probably wants to honor him by doing this, which I think is A, cool, and B, true. Jade did talk about, and a lot of people have talked about in AEW, where before shows, you can just go out to the ring, and Brian and Kenny, when they're there, or whoever else is one of the older guys, they're just out there and they're teaching everybody everything they can. And Brian and Kenny have been 2 of the biggest proponents of that. So I think you're right, James, and I think that's really cool of Jade.
So I don't think this is the way to do it. I think if she wants to introduce this move, have it as a secondary finisher, like oh, I can't kill her with Jaded. Well, I'm going to hit her with the Sandstorm, because again, it's just like, it's like when Cena started doing the springboard cutter. It was cool the first time, then he kept fucking it up. But the problem wasn't that he kept fucking it up. It was the problem that you've got one of the best moves ever. You've made it even kind of cooler in a sense, but the guy's always kicking at it too. You literally never pinned anybody with it. You don't take like really cool finishing moves and make them moves that you know are going to get kicked out of. One Winged Angel, famously a move that almost never gets kicked out of. Same thing with something like the Razor's Edge, even though that's been nerfed.
Well, Rhea literally uses that, so
same thing with the 3D, that's been less nerfed. Like I think it's only the 1D's only been kicked out of once.
Yeah.
So like that's fair. I'll give that one. Like I would say that's a proper
finisher. Yeah, passing of the torch. Yeah.
Like it's kept up the legacy. The fact that you debut it and like boom, you get kicked out of it's just kind of like.
I get what you're saying. I do. I've always found it interesting where people emulate their idols in wrestling now, and I think the biggest example of this is the super kick. But my kayfabe in my head, and I've said this a couple times on the show, is, I guess for lack of a better phrase, often imitated, never duplicated. Your finisher is something that you probably have practiced and hit thousands and thousands and thousands of times. What is it, 10,000 hours that makes you a master of whatever you do?
Well said.
That's how it is with the finishers, right? You can hit anybody's finisher, arguably, but you don't know the subtle intricacies of why it works, how to hit it properly to keep your opponent down for 3. So, yes, Jade is paying homage to one of her mentors, but Kenny never taught her the secrets. And that's the kayfabe difference.
I love the excuse you gave for her. You'd be a great lawyer. I don't buy it for a second, but you might be able to convince a jury. So I will give you for that.
But I think about that with like everything, with all moves, not just this. People hitting moves on each other. Like we just mentioned Hangman hitting the One Winged Angel on Kenny and Kenny kicking out. Hangman doesn't really know how to hit it. He knows the mechanics, but he doesn't know the subtle intricacies. And then you can look at things like I mentioned, the super kick or even the DDT, things that were finishers in the 80s and 90s are now used as everyday moves.
That's fair. I don't want the One Winged Angel to be that. And also, I think
give it 30 years and it might be.
No, we're not there. And I never want to be there. I want to be dead before that happens.
Fair. Kenny's been wrestling 15 years. Like, it's going to start happening.
James, make him shut up.
We're getting old, kid.
I will say, I think what you're saying about the intricacies, I think that argument is 100% valid for when I hit you with your own finisher. I think when you're introducing a move that your mentor taught you and passed down to you, and you're the only one who's using it, and the first time you use it, someone gets kicked out of 2, you make the finisher look like shit. So, like, it's not cool. I don't dig it. Homage or not, you're basically like, oh, I'm honoring my teacher. You're shitting on your teacher. That's what it looks like to me. Hey, look at this thing you taught me. Look how shitty I do it. It looks good. The fact that like it's booked like shit, it's booked weak, is not cool. Rhea could have put her leg on the rope. Like there's so many ways if they don't want this to be the 3 count that you can get out of it without making the finisher look bad. That's all I'll say.
Fair. And this is I think a reasonable people can disagree instance, but we should probably get to the rest of the match here.
Absolutely.
Because following that sandstorm, Jade then ordered BFAB and Nishin to attack Rhea on the outside. I believe Rhea had rolled out following the kick.
Yeah. Both of them look great, by the way. I love their look, their outfit. They look fantastic.
Yeah,
I've never said anything nice about BFAB.
To side note, did you see she told somebody, I think it was SRS, she's cousins with Javon Evans?
I still don't like her.
Fair enough. I just thought that was cool. That felt very Vince Carter and Tracy McGrady finding out they were cousins. Digressing.
Basketball, I know.
The two of them tried to attack Rhea as Jade attempted to distract the referee, but the ref caught them, and it appeared like he was about to throw the 2 of them out from ringside. But then, Io Sky's music hit. Thank the Lord she was on this show in some way, shape, or form. Please don't fall out of your chair. She came down, beat the piss out of them, hit a springboard moonsault off the second rope to take both of them out, as Jade actually came in to try to hit her with a big boot. Beautiful timing by the two of them. Jade then turned back around, went for Jaded on Rhea, but Rhea was able to counter that by actually getting down to the floor, and she went through Jade's legs and held on to one of Jade's arms, which allowed her to... I actually skipped a bit here, but that's okay. Now, all right, it threw me off. Following the springboard, Rhea hit a headbutt on Jade. Jade countered a riptide and then hit a big boot. Then Jade went for Jaded. Rhea countered, went through Jade's legs, held onto her arm, and then got Jade up for the riptide, hit it, and she won the Women's World Championship.
Great notes.
Yep. And then after the match, obviously she celebrated with Io. Rhea actually showed Io herself, but they caught it on the camera that she had written Io on her wrist tape, which I thought was really cool, especially considering everything that happened with Io not getting a match on this card, which I could talk about for about 3 fucking hours. But Matt, I like this match. Interference aside, Jade is somebody where if you give her the right dance partner, she can step up, to the plate and play up to that level. And Rhea, I thought, was somebody with whom she could do that, and I think she really did. This almost kind of reminded me of when Jade had a match against Chris Statlander back in AEW. You get a big, strong woman who really knows how to wrestle, and you put her in there with Jade, and Jade will give you a pretty damn good match, and you ended up getting it tonight.
Yeah, this was solid. I wasn't expecting much, so this was solid. I was very shocked. I thought they were going to stick with Jade for a bit. I guess maybe they've pivoted. It's interesting. I don't know where it's going to go. I don't think it's going to be the first thing they do, but I imagine Rhea's finally going to get the win over Io, defending this title. She'll finally get a win over Io, which she's never done in her career. I'm glad Io got something to do. She looked good. I had been complaining that she had kept looking like a cheerleader, and she did a little bit here, but it was more that she came down and made the save for her friend. She looked strong. She looked good. She looked like just a supportive friend and not a cheerleader. And you could see that Rhea appreciated that. And again, we should get to that match at some point. It doesn't have to be right now, though. They're still entitled to a tag title rematch. I don't think they're going to do that right off the bat either, but I think they should do it at some point. Maybe wait for the Bellas to figure that shit out when the Bellas have, get Paige out of there, have Paige do some single stuff, and when the Bellas are ready to do the tag title thing together, they could do that match.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what the future here is for Rhea. I assume now she's probably going to go to SmackDown, and Io has been Raw, and they've kind of established that already. But it was nice to see Io be able to get onto WrestleMania. She got a huge pop. Yeah. Again, I'm so frustrated that they couldn't find a spot for this very obvious Io Asuka match that has to happen. Word is it's going to be a Backlash, but that is such a WrestleMania match, you stupid fucks.
I mean, if it means Asuka doesn't have to take another WrestleMania loss, maybe I'll take it.
Yeah, all right. The silver lining there, yes. Yeah, good call. But I think you hit the nail on the head when you said the plans have changed with Jade, because they were so clearly for a long time trying to set up for whatever was going to happen with Bianca and I presume Naomi as well. And both of those got completely thrown in the trash because one got pregnant and then the other one got hurt and then got pregnant. So
from Naomi, I had already, because Naomi got Money in the Bank and we all assumed she was going to cash in on Tiffany or Jade, and she ended up going for Stephanie Vaquer instead. But they still have. That's something that I'm sure they're going to revisit regardless. Yes. But we all thought it was going to be Bianca Belair versus Jade tonight. Whether Bianca was going to take the title back, who's to say? I think I think Jade has plenty of upside. She's plenty of good days ahead of her. She's got nothing to worry about. I just wish she had more title defenses for considering how long this reign was. And that's not necessarily her fault. I don't know who's booking that, who's making the decisions, who's saying yes, no, maybe so. But yeah, her title reign did not have enough defenses. At the same time, it was a fun ending. It ended at Mania. It was memorable. So I say mission accomplished there.
Yeah, I agree with you. She did not have nearly enough defenses. They were plenty of, top posts on Square Circle. Jade hasn't defended her title in like 100 and whatever days, 160.
5 days, 60 days, yeah.
Yeah, no, it was like 160 days. Like, it was a while. And I don't know if that's them wanting to protect her, if that's them just not knowing what to do, because again, the Bianca thing didn't work out, whatever it was. I'm glad she had the title reign, but it wasn't incredibly memorable. And I do say that as somebody who doesn't watch SmackDown every week, but if there were big moments, yes, James is very hyped about the Super Saiyan. It's Super Saiyan armor. I meant to go back to that, but thank you for reminding me.
It's over 9,000.
And the crowd's love for Rhea and Io was definitely over 9,000 at the end of this. So it was a very feel good moment for the two of them. I'm hyped. I think Rhea is going to present a whole new opportunity for the women's division over on the SmackDown side, just because she's a fresh face there, and hopefully you can get some title shots for some people who really haven't had any, and hopefully Rhea can maybe use a little bit of sway and be like, hey, I want to work with this person or this person, and bring some people up. And hopefully one of them's Julia, because she's the women's U.S. title holder, and I didn't hear a peep from her this weekend. So outside of the good video she did with Kit Wilson.
I was going to say that, and there was definitely some pictures of just her looking good, but she always looks good. So,
Bonk.
I'm tired. I can't even defend.
I know. Last thing we got to cover, though, speaking of Kit Wilson, we had one segment before the main event, which was John Cena coming out and announcing the attendance record. And then he tries to give a very heartfelt thank you to the crowd, as, it's his first appearance since he's retired. Well,
on
last
WWE
night,
television. And
yes.
And then also, I just real quick note, surprisingly to me, the attendance record, it was something like 55,000, which is about 10,000 more than that was reported like yesterday. Like yesterday was like 45,000, and they were expecting tonight to be the same. So I wondered, was there a jump in ticket sales, or did WWE did WWE lie about the attendance record like they have done numerous times in the past?
I can actually answer this question, and the answer is neither. So they probably sold the amount of tickets you saw, but I think it was Meltzer who said this a long time ago. They will also report the amount of people they have backstage, the amount of security people, the people working in the concessions, people working the floor. The attendance is literally everybody in the stadium, not everybody who paid for tickets. That's why they're able to say 55,000 and change when they maybe only sold 49 or whatever the ticket number was.
Yeah, still 10,000 more, about 10,000 more than I was expecting. Because give me a second here. You keep
talking. I don't know what the real number was. I don't even care what the number Cena said was. I kind of got distracted by the rest of this segment. You can look it up and
I got it real quick. Yesterday was 42,715. Tonight was expected to be 43,394. And again, like I said, Cena said 55,000 something.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's probably including, like I said, literally every person in the arena, to even those who were working. And then you got to imagine they probably papered some of it, like literally giveaways for probably TKO people or whomever.
Still 10,000 more than yesterday. So that's
it was. They said it was a lie, and whatever. All that shit's at work. So Anyway,
Your
Cena
favorite part.
announced, yes, Cena announced that number. And then, as I mentioned, he was trying to give a very heartfelt thank you as WrestleMania Nights 1 and 2 has been his first on-screen WWE appearance since he's retired. But he gets interrupted by The Miz and Kit Wilson, with The Miz coming in saying he wants his WrestleMania moment. Cena is actually very nice about it. He shakes Miz's hand. He goes, "Hey, Mike, good to see you." He goes to Kit Wilson. Hi, I don't know you. My name is John Cena. Nice to meet you. Shakes Kit's hand. And he goes, "We've known each other a long time, Mike. The floor is yours. Have your WrestleMania moments." And the Miz is like, "Oh, okay, great." So he tries to, and he immediately gets interrupted by Danhausen's music. So the music hits, and it's not Danhausen who comes out, but it is a group of, I think what I said earlier, minis. And that's what I'm going to use. Now, Michael Cole used a different M word. I'm just not going to say it because I don't want to get demonetized, and I don't know how comfortable I am because I don't know the rules here.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, would we get demonetized? I'm not.
I don't know. I don't want to risk it.
Let's not chance it.
But Michael Cole literally said on commentary, and I did mention this earlier, these people wanted to be called that. Cool. I'm not one of them. I'm not going to say it. So they came out dressed as, Danhausen minis.
Juniors, Danhausen Juniors.
Yes. Well, I'm using minis because that's what they call them in Lucha Libre. So
minis. I think we'll go with juniors or minis. Either way.
Yes. Yeah, both work. Good call on juniors. So they come out dressed as that. And then Danhausen comes out in like a car that was built up to look like a little coffin. I think Cole called it like the Danhausen Mobile.
Scooby-Doo, yeah.
He was like, "Oh, it's like it's what the Mystery Machine would look like if it was Danhausen." I believe was the line. So he drives it down.
Just say he looks like he's from Scooby-Doo. That's all you got to say.
Review. So Danhausen comes down and all his crew gets in the ring with him, and then it looks like he's going to call out the Miz, but instead he turns to Cena and he's like, "I need to talk to you." And everyone's like, "Okay, what's he going to do?" And he goes, Big fan Hausen. Nice to meet you, John Cena." So they shake hands and they're having a good time, and Miz goes ballistic. So, and then he's yelling at Danhausen, and then he starts yelling at the minis, how if he wanted to see the Wizard of Oz, he would have went down the block.
Which is pretty funny.
So then
It got a good laugh.
Yeah, honestly, it was a good line. So then Miz goes, "Kit, take care of this." And Kit shoves over one of the minis. So Danhausen's like, he mentioned one of them by name. He goes, "Okay, go after him." And the mini steps up to Kit Wilson and punches him square in the dick. And then Danhausen goes, "Dogpile him." And all the minis jump on Kit and they start attacking him and they dogpile him and they end up rolling out of the ring. Miz then tries to go after, I guess, them or Danhausen, whatever it was. But classic Danhausen drops to the knee. He punches Miz square in the dick. And then Miz is laid out flat. And Danhausen is standing over him. And he puts his hand up. And he looks at John Cena. And John Cena goes, "Be my guest." And fucking Danhausen, "You can't see me," hits the ropes, curses everybody. It's the 5-knuckle shuffle. And Miz rolls out of the ring. And then the minis take him as he's rolling out of the ring and start walking him up the ramp.
I like like he's like Jesus.
Yeah, there's a oh god, what movie is that where like I can't remember what movie it is. It's gonna drive me nuts.
They did it in the first All In. They did it with
we don't talk. We don't. Yeah, it was Hangman and somebody we don't talk about, and the Dick Druids.
The canceled Joey.
Yes, the penis druids. So
you won't say his name, but you'll say penis druids.
Yes, I will. I can say penis. It is a medically correct term, and I can say it as much as I want. And
we're doing so well.
Monetized. So Cena and Danhausen then shake hands, and Danhausen gets his pyro for the smoke that he's supposed to use to disappear, but he's terrible at it. So he's like, oh shoot, I'm supposed to go hide and disappear, and like runs out of the ring and like runs around because half of it's LED, and finally finds the part where he can go under the ring, and he goes under the ring, and then the minis like just drop Miz on the ramp, and they also go under the ring, and Cena just legitimately broke. He was laughing so hard. He's like, only at WrestleMania. This is what retired life is like. I love it. And then he goes, and now here's your main event. And then we got the hype package for Punk Roman, and then we got another 6 minutes of ads. But compared to last night where we had a lot of downtime, and we always, I feel like we have this segment before the main event now with WrestleMania, no matter what it is. It's always the attendance announcement, and there's usually some shenanigans. This was a good one. I enjoyed it. I laughed. Still too many ads before and after, but I mean, Danhausen is a superstar in WWE so far, Matt, and you gotta love the guy. Love that Danhausen.
Yeah, I'm very happy for him. Again, we've talked about maybe they're overdoing it just a bit. It's still fresh. People are still enjoying it, but it's gonna run dry. So they have to be careful. And even tonight, the silliness of the ending, I think like some people were just a little baffled by not the concept, but the execution. Like it was a little maybe too over the top. Like again, like I was just kind of like, wait, what? Like, okay, so he's still committing to the bit. He's still going under the ring. Like, why don't we just turn off the lights like we did during his introduction?
It was so good though. I loved it.
I enjoyed it momentarily. Like there's sometimes that bit works great and other times it doesn't. Like my favorite one is SpongeBob, where Plankton is doing the magic trick at the Krusty Krab talent show and he gets caught, and then he does the magic trick to disappear, and he's like, "I'll get you next time, Krab. Shiakazi!" And then like he explodes himself. He's like, "Well, this stinks." Like this wasn't quite that,
All I know is I'm looking forward to this ending up on Botchamania, and send for the man. Like,
cool.
See
Me and Machoverse need to reenact that. That would be great.
That would be really funny. Yeah, you have James saying he can't hear us right now, but he wants to say that Cena seeing Joe so genuinely happy made him happy. And yeah, dude, Cena, he was having the time of his life out there. He didn't have to do anything. He just went out there and watched Danhausen be Danhausen. And like I said, it legitimately cracked him up. And it cracked me up as well. So shout out to Danhausen. I'm hoping that, like, you said this shit runs dry. I'm hoping that it doesn't. I think Danhausen is actually a lot more clever than that. So it's still early days for him in WWE. I think he'll be okay.
They've also barely scratched the surface as far as his like ring prowess. And I'm not saying he's like a ring general 5-star match guy, but like we've barely scratched the surface on him wrestling. So they've barely touched that. So there's still that to look forward to. And I'm sure Cena enjoyed himself. I'm sure he was very busy in between segments and didn't have to actually sit and watch all those ads.
Very true. But yeah, I think to me in my head, like the first thing I just thought of was, because you mentioned the wrestling, Orange Cassidy didn't wrestle for a long time in the beginning of his AEW run, and people were like, "Oh, this is gonna run dry. Like, what's he gonna do?" Da da da. And he got in the ring, and with all due respect to Danhausen, Orange is a bit better in the ring, but allowing starting to be able to do actual wrestling matches will help extend the bit, and he'll be fine, man. I know he got his blimp already, though, so I don't know what else he has to strive for.
Also, Orange evolved as a character, too. So Danhausen will probably have to do that at some point. No time soon, but I would hope, again, like you run into that problem of like, okay, this shtick is going to run dry, especially if they're overdoing it. He will at some point have to evolve. So we'll see what happens. I have faith. They're off to a great start. Let's keep going with the pod. I am very tired.
Yeah, and you know what? R-Truth has done it for 40 years. I think Danhausen will figure it out. All right, but Matt, that was WrestleMania. That's everything.
Oh, that's right. You do the main event first.
Yes,
Okay.
I did do the main event first. Did you have any comments on it before we wrap up?
I mean, like I said, last night was a shit show for me on multiple different levels. So it's not a fair comparison to make, but from what I get, like I can say that tonight was exceedingly better, night and day difference. And from what I heard from most people was that tonight was an improvement. But again, there are still some significant issues here that I'm hoping the company is willing to address. The fact that there were nonsensical celebrity cameos. The celebrity cameos can be fun. They can make sense. These did not. There's way too many ads, like unforgivable amount of ads that it's just insane. Like how many ads there are. I can't express. I physically cannot express how nauseating and disgusting the amount of ads are. It's and again, we need to focus on why people are here. What is WWE? What has WWE been? And what's it going to be going forward? Because they don't know right now. They've been coasting for 2 years. And last night was dreadfully apparent of that. Tonight they did a little bit better, but again, they can't keep coasting and they can't keep charging out the wazoo. Something's got to give. So figure it out. That's not my job. You figure it out. WWE, figure it out. TKO, figure it out. Come on. But good job tonight. Fine, I'll give it to you.
I will agree with you wholeheartedly on about 98% of what you said. In terms of obviously the money, they've been charging way too much. The amount of different streaming services you need to watch all of the product is insane. The presentation is terrible because of the advertisements, because of the corporate tie-ins, the overuse of just showing celebrities in the crowd all the time. Some of who I wouldn't be surprised if they were paid to be there. You know, I'm sure Stephen A. Wasn't there because he wanted to be.
Well, he's an ESPN guy. That's
exactly. No, I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like, so there's that. I'm going to push back just on tonight, the overuse of celebrities, just because the only celebrity they really had was Lil Yachty, and I thought he played his part perfectly and should be the poster child of how you use celebrities in a build up to WrestleMania. Although, hot take, I really didn't mind Speed last night. It was just more of the overuse in general. He just kind of hit the point of diminishing returns.
He played his part. I think he would have been better off as like a referee or a side character. But again, the fact that he had been his storyline got kind of canceled with Danhausen made no sense. I hope they revisit that. That would be fun.
Yeah.
Except as long as they keep it fresh. I would say the number one thing I want starting tomorrow, it's not going to happen. Besides, I would say 3 things: lower ticket prices, no more ads on Netflix, and again, less ads in general overall.
I don't think you'll get no more ads on Netflix just because they still structure Raw like a regular TV show, like it was on cable. But the fact that a pay-per-view or a PLE, God, I hate that phrase, feels like it is a show on cable with commercials, every 15 to 20 minutes is ridiculous. That being said, I thought the wrestling was far better tonight. I haven't got a look at match times in comparison to last night, but the matches felt a bit longer, and maybe it was just because they were better, and maybe I was a little more invested in some of them. But it definitely felt longer. So I think that helped alleviate some of the bullshit of the presentation surrounding everything. And I felt tonight was just far and away better than last night. And you had matches that lived up to the name WrestleMania, especially that main event. That, as I mentioned, was a WrestleMania match. That was a WrestleMania main event. And I think that you had the Oba versus Brock match and the ladder match, both of those obviously to start the show, those all felt like WrestleMania, like proper WrestleMania quality matches. And I was thrilled to see it for those guys. And I think that helped me like this night a lot more than I did last night. One last comment here from James as he gives his thoughts. He's glad he went. I'm sure there was, hell getting there and probably getting back. So hopefully you have a safe flight home, James, along with Papa G and Scooch. But he's saying this is what WrestleMania should feel like. And I think to an extent, yet match quality wise, yes. Again, ads, the presentation, all of that, no. Hard no. But he also says to watch AEW.
I'm happy to hear that you enjoyed it tonight, and same with James. I couldn't find match times that I was just looking for. But Roman and Punk went about 32 minutes and change. That's a pretty hefty time. I could have used maybe a couple minutes shorter, but it's no big deal. I would say both companies, because we just talked about AEW, they need to find a balance because they are way off. Like WWE, the matches are way too short, but there's way too many ads. Like AEW, the match, I wouldn't say the matches are too long, but their shows are too long. Like we've been to like 5-hour pay-per-views. And again, we said it before and I said it again, we were at Full Gear in Jersey last year and I had to leave because I had to drive home back to Long Island and I just couldn't stay for the last match, which I wish I had because Joe beat the title. What are you going to do?
I was at I think I mentioned the story. Like I was at the WrestleMania in the Meadowlands when Becky won that title after an 8-hour day. So I can't, anything compared to that is short to me. But
it's funny, that should have been the first 2-night Mania in hindsight. But I somehow survived that. I got very drunk pre-gaming in the parking lot.
Me too.
Sober up and drove home and I was okay. But it could have been bad.
Glad you made. I took the train and I got stuck in the rain.
Oh God, I drove out of there really fast. Plenty of stuff to follow us on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and all the great places. Yep. Nick, give them the scoop.
Yep, I will give him the report in 1 second. I just get the last thoughts from James here. If he's paying $50 for a pay-per-view, he wants it to be as long as it can be.
Not if I got to drive home.
Yeah, all right, fair enough.
Public transport, trunks. If there's caveats there.
He also still thinks WrestleMania should be 1 night, 2-night Manias suck, and I do believe you have an argument, but that is an argument we will have at another time.
Yeah, cut it.
All right. On that note, I would like to thank everyone so much for watching us here at the Market Down Podcast. We'd appreciate it if you liked and subscribed. If you liked the video, it lets us know that you like what we're doing here on the show, and we will continue to do it. Including Matt dancing. And if you subscribe, you continue to get all the great stuff here on the pod. If something goes absolutely banana lands crazy tomorrow on Raw, maybe we'll cover it. But I don't know. But we will definitely be here on Wednesday for AEW Dynamite. As James mentioned, you should watch AEW. It's a good show.
We'll play it by ear tomorrow. We'll play it by ear.
Yes, we definitely will. We will have the Gym Pack Zone on Thursday for you TNA fans. James hosts that. He always loves Impact, and he will continue to ride or die for it until well, it's never going to die because it's a cockroach and it can't. It's like
TNA. Don't listen to him.
No, I mean that in a good way. It's just the cockroach that cannot die. It'll survive a nuclear holocaust forever and ever and ever. And then also too, we cover as many pay-per-views as we can here from all of the companies, whether it be WWE, AEW, New Japan, Ring of Honor, TNA, NXT, whatever we have time to do, we try to cover. So be sure to check all that stuff out as well. And also you can check out, if you want the fan perspective of Brock Lesnar leaving his boots and his gloves in the ring following his match and seemingly indicating his retirement here tonight, you can check out on the channel as well. If you want to follow us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Twitter, those links are in the description below here on YouTube. If you're watching us over on Facebook or on Twitter. You want to follow us in some other places. Twitter is at marketdown_pod. Instagram is at marketdownpod. YouTube.com/marketdown3665 or / at marketdownpod. Marketdownpod.bsky.social over on Blue Sky. That's my domain. I'd appreciate it if you check you hanging out. Matt handles most of the Instagram stuff. He had a lot of good stuff from his parties this weekend with WrestleMania. So, if you can get that QR code, do that. Otherwise, as I mentioned, is at marketdownpod on Instagram. So check out his stuff. He does a lot of great work there on our Instagram, and we would appreciate the follow. Matt, any last words before we get out of here?
Love you guys. Have a good night. Take care. Hope to see you tomorrow.
Yep, we appreciate you watching. So for James Asante from Las Vegas and Matt Gascon, my name is Nick Cummings. Thank you so much for watching us here at the Market Down Podcast. Have a good one, everyone. And we hope you enjoyed WrestleMania.
And ads. And ads.
Yeah, and ads.